A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, the only cigarette in America to give you premium quality in both regular and king size, brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a burglary detail. A string of store burglaries takes place in your city. The thieves work at night. They leave no physical evidence behind. Your job, get them. Thousands are changing to Chesterfield, both regular and king size, because Chesterfield is the first and only cigarette to give you premium quality in both sizes.
That means king-size Chesterfield contains tobaccos of better quality and higher price than any other king-size cigarette.
The same fine tobaccos as in regular Chesterfield. There is absolutely no difference, except that king-size Chesterfield is larger, contains so much more of the same tobaccos, it gives more than a fifth longer smoke. Yes, more than a fifth longer smoke from king-size Chesterfield.
So remember, Chesterfield is the only cigarette to give you premium quality in both regular and king size.
Buy 'em either way you like 'em, regular or king size. You'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Yes, Chesterfield is best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, January 23rd. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Wisdom. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 10:36 a.m. when we got to the corner of Constance and Westlake. Nichols Dry Goods Store.
Yes? Something I can do for you, gentlemen?
Yes, ma'am. We're police officers.
Oh, yes, about the robbery.
Yes, ma'am. Are you Gladys Nichols?
Yes, I am. I'm the owner. I found out that the safe had been robbed.
I think you mean your safe was burgled, Mrs. Nichols.
What?
Well, your safe, it's a technical term. We refer to it as having been burgled, not robbed.
Burgled. Robbed. They took the money out of it.
Well, you see, ma'am, a lot of people make that same mistake. A safe is burgled and a man is robbed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I came in this morning. I didn't get your name.
I'm sorry. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Well, I'm pleased to meet you.
How you do?
Like I said, I'm Gladys Nichols.
Yes, ma'am. Now, if you just tell us what happened here.
Oh, sure. Well, I came in this morning, 8:30, just like I always do. Been doing the same thing for the past 10 years. 8 years at the old location. Always opened exactly 8:30 on the dot.
Yes, Miss Nichols.
Miss Nichols. I took my maiden name when my husband died.
I'm sorry. You go right ahead, please.
Oh, sure. I came in at 8:30 this morning, opened the door, and came on in. Everything looked just like it should have. Hung up my coat, and I rolled up the shade on the front window. After that, I opened the safe, and that's when I knew that I'd been burgled.
That's right, ma'am.
I could tell it right away. Safe was empty, not a bit of money left. Cleaned it right out.
Do you know how much money there was in the safe, Miss Nichols?
Oh, yes. $423.76. I know exactly.
Yes, sir.
Can't understand it either. It should have gone off. Should have worked. Can't understand why it didn't.
What's that, ma'am?
Burglar alarm.
Oh.
Yes, not a peep out of it, nothing. The man that sold it to me said that if anybody so much as looked at something and thought about stealing it, the alarm would go off. But like I said, not a peep. Oh, I wonder if you'd excuse me for a minute. There's Mrs. Johnson, old customer.
Yes, ma'am.
It won't take a minute.
You, ma'am.
Good morning, Vera.
Morning, Gladys. I want a pattern and some material.
All right. What pattern do you want?
Oh, I was over to the Pomquits the other night. Barbara made some of the cutest pillows I ever saw. Looked like pieces of fruit. You know, watermelon, strawberry.
Oh, yeah, I know the ones you mean.
She said she saw them in a magazine. Sent for the pattern, but I thought if anybody that had it, you'd be the one. Have you?
Sure. It's new. I just got it in a couple of days ago. I guess you heard about my being burgled.
No. Really?
Sure, last night. Those two gentlemen back there from the police come in to talk to me about it.
And you were really robbed?
Burgled, dear. A safe is burgled. A man is robbed.
Oh.
Now, is this the pattern you want?
Yes, that's the one. See there? I want to make the slice of watermelon and the strawberry. Think they'll look real nice on the bench in the parlor.
Oh, yes, they sure would.
Faye saw those things. Said she wanted to make some. You see them, Joe? No, I never have. They're real nice. Probably not too comfortable, but they sure look pretty.
How much material do I need for just the two?
Well, I'm not sure. Have to look at the pattern. Do you want just the melon slice and the strawberry, that right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, for the melon, you need, let's see. You want it out of cloth or plastic?
What?
Cloth or plastic. You can make them out of either.
Cloth, I think. Yeah.
Faye's going to use plastic. It's better for the kids. Yeah.
You'll need 3/4 of a yard of red and a 1/4 yard of green felt for the hull and the stem. That's for the strawberry. And then for the melon, you'll need a 1/2 yard of white, a 1/2 yard of pink, and a 1/2 yard of green.
All right.
Now, how about embroidery cotton? You'll need 4 skeins of the 6-strand black.
I have plenty of that.
Well, I'll measure it out for you. Sure had some excitement around here this morning. All those policemen running around looking for fingerprints and clues. It was real excitement.
Mm-hmm. They caught the man yet?
No, that's what those 2 men are here for now. Want to ask them some questions.
Certainly don't look like policemen.
Now, why do you say that?
Well, you know, they don't look anything like they do in the movies.
Never do. Now, you will need some muslin for this, too. You want to get it now?
No, I'll pick it up later. Got to get some batting, too.
All right.
That's the stuff that gives Faye trouble. What? Batting. You know, the stuff you put inside the pillows. Faye always has trouble with it. Stuff always creeps down to one end of the pillow. You got one real fat end, and the other one just hasn't got anything in it. Kind of uncomfortable when you sit on it. Yeah.
Just put that on the bill, will you, Gladys?
You betcha.
Sure hope you get the burglary all straightened out.
Oh, I know they will. Thanks for coming in. Now then, I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
That's all right, ma'am. About that burglar alarm.
Yes?
Well, about the switch. Are you sure you turned it on when you left the shop?
Sure, you just bet I did. I always do. Right after I pull the shade down, I always switch on the system. It's supposed to ring when anybody tries to get into the place. Didn't work this time, not even a peep.
Well, no, you say this time. Do you mean that something like this happened before?
Oh, no, just a figure of speech. No, never been anything like this before.
I see. Did you notice anything disturbed in the place when you came in? Anything that made you think something might be wrong?
No, not a thing. Came in, rolled up the shade, and then opened the safe. That's the first I knew about it. Somebody opened it up. Must have known the combination. Just opened it up and took the money.
Well, does anyone else have a key to your front door here? Anyone besides yourself, I mean?
Well, there's Alan.
Alan?
Yes, Alan Hoffman. He comes in, straightens up for me. He's a decorator.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least he's trying to be one. He likes to come in and putter with the material. He works in some sort of store during the day, and then he comes in here in the evenings and works with the material. You know, tries out different things.
Yes, ma'am. Does he have the combination to your safe?
Oh, no. I'm the only one who has that.
Do you know if he was in here last night?
No, I don't. But I know that Alan wouldn't do a thing like this. I'm sure of that.
How is it you let this Alan have a key to the place, ma'am? Let him have the run of the place when you're not here?
Oh, well, I've known Alan for a long time. I knew his mother. We've always been good friends. Once in a while, he gets a commission to a house, and he always gets the material he needs from me. Oh, he's awfully nice. You'd like him.
Yes, ma'am. You know where we can get in touch with this Mr. Hoffman?
Sure, I can give you his address. Lives over on 9th. Got a real cute place. All modern and all. He does those mobiles. You know those things made out of wire and plastic? Hangs from the ceiling? Just hang there and go round and around. It's a new art form.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't understand them myself, but I guess there are a lot of people who do.
Yeah. Are you insured against theft, ma'am?
I beg your pardon?
Do you have any insurance against theft?
Sure, I have insurance. By golly, that's the first time I thought about it. I always thought that it was kind of a waste of money. Sure glad I have it now. This whole thing won't cost me a cent.
Well, now, outside of this Hoffman, do you hire anyone else in the store here?
No, well, I don't pay Alan anything. He just comes in and putters.
There's no need for anyone else in the store. I have a man come in once in a while to wash the front windows, but no one steady.
Has there been anyone around regularly? Anyone who'd be in a position to learn the combination of the safe man and find out where the switch to the burglar alarm is?
No. No, not that I can think of. Of course, most of my customers are pretty regular, come in all the time, but I'm pretty sure that none of them would do a thing like this.
Wonder if you could give us a list of the people who come in regularly, Miss Nichols.
Sure, I can. But I don't want you to go around bothering them, asking a lot of questions, causing embarrassment. I just won't have it. Money just isn't that important. It doesn't make that much difference, especially since I'm insured.
Well, we won't embarrass anyone. It's just that we'd like to have the list if we could.
Oh, well, all right.
What time did you close the store last night, Miss Nichols?
6:10, same as always.
Did you lock the store yourself?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you notice anyone loitering around outside? Anyone who might have looked a little unusual, like they were waiting for you to leave?
No, I don't think so. If there was anyone, I didn't notice them.
Did you leave any sort of a light burning in the place?
I beg your pardon?
Well, a night light. Do you leave one burning when you close up?
Sure. That lamp on the counter, old coffee grinder. I leave that on. Has a 150-watt bulb. Throws a lot of light. Of course, you can't see anything from the street when I close up. Just a lot of shadows.
I beg your pardon?
Well, I pull the shade down when I leave. Once I had some material fade that was in the window. Since then, I pull the shade down. When it's down, you can't see inside from the street. It's off.
Uh-huh.
Say, if you don't mind, I'd like to make a phone call.
Of course, ma'am.
I want to call those people and tell them what I think of them. If they're going to have to make good on that guarantee.
Who's that, ma'am?
Burglar alarm people. Thing didn't work at all. Not even a peep.
11:18 a.m. Frank and I checked by the crime lab to see if they'd been able to come up with any physical evidence from the scene of the burglary. As in the previous cases, there was nothing to work on. For the past month, a series of burglaries had been taking place in the same one-block area. The M.O. in every instance was the same. Somehow, the doors to the shops were being unlocked, the safes rifled, and then closed up again. In those stores where there wasn't a safe, merchandise was stolen. In all of the burglaries, whoever was responsible for them got away without leaving a trace of physical evidence behind. Store employees were interrogated, owners were questioned. None of them could give us any leads. The M.O. had been run through the stats office, but they couldn't help us. Stakeouts had been placed on the stores. Extra men were sent out from Metro Division to patrol the streets. The men saw nothing, but the burglaries continued. The thief or thieves seemed to know just what stores were under surveillance and seemed to keep clear of them. Wednesday, 12:14 p.m. We ran the name Alan Hoffman through R&I, but we got no make. Frank and I drove out to his home address on 9th Street. He met us at the door and asked us in.
I'm doing some work back here. Mind if I go on with it?
No, sir. You go right ahead.
Right back here, sun porch. I got a commission to do a place I'm working on some mobiles for.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I think I'll call it Doves at Sunrise. Sit down. Any place.
Yeah, thanks. Just a couple of questions we'd like to ask you, Hoffman.
Sure, what about?
Were you in Miss Nichols' shop last night?
Oh, no, why?
Can you tell us where you were last night?
Yeah, I think so. I went to an exhibition of mobile, a place down on Pico. A friend of mine had a one-man show. Great ideas. Bad color, but great idea.
You prove you were there?
Well, sure, if I have to. What's this all about, anyway?
I understand you have a key to the shop. Is that right?
Yeah, Gladys gave it to me. I go down there and check the material, get ideas for decorating.
Where do you work, Mr. Hoffman?
Right now in a store out on Beverly, antique shop. I want to go in business for myself, interior decoration. I've been working for it a long time. A couple of more good commissions, I'll be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. Do you work at night down there very often?
You mean at Gladys's?
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe a couple of times a week.
What time do you usually get there?
It depends on what I'm doing before. Usually I have dinner, then go by. Well, what's this all about, anyway? Something wrong?
You probably know that there have been several burglaries down in that area lately.
Yeah, I heard about them. You figure I had something to do with them? Is that it?
Well, we're trying to find out who's responsible for them.
No, it isn't me.
You ever notice anyone around the place when you were there at night?
No, not that I remember. Hand me that piece of balsa, will you?
Miss Wood here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here you are.
Thanks. No, I've never noticed anyone around there.
What time do you finish up at the shop there?
Sometimes late as 2, maybe 3 in the morning.
Uh-huh. Miss Nichols tell you where the burglar alarm switch is?
Sure, I know. Couldn't move around the place without knowing about it. Have half the police force there if that thing ever went off.
You got any idea as to how that safe could be opened by someone other than Miss Nichols?
No, she's so touchy about that safe. She never let anyone get near her when she's opening. Even after she finishes the combination, she twirls the dial so you can't tell what number she stopped on.
You've looked, have you?
No. I don't like what you're trying to say.
Well, we're not trying to say anything, Hoffman.
You imply that I might try to knock over that safe.
No, we didn't say that.
You said the same thing. asking me if I'd try to see the combination.
Well, now, just take it easy, Hoffman. If you haven't done anything, you got nothing to be afraid of.
Got nothing to be afraid of. I just don't like your remarks, that's all.
You ever been arrested? I say, you ever been arrested?
Oh, no. A couple of tickets for running red lights, that's all.
And give us the address of the place where you were last night?
Yeah, I suppose so. You guys really think I had something to do with this, huh?
We got to check everybody out, Hoffman. You came up on the list.
Well, that's all it is, huh?
That's all it is.
Well, I'll give you the address. You can check there. I'll tell you, I was there till about 3:30 this morning, and then we all went out to get something to eat. I came home about 5 this morning. Went right to bed.
Anybody see you come in?
No, I don't think so. You guys figure it might be an inside job, these burglaries?
Looks like it might be, yeah.
Well, that's the way I've got it figured. From what Gladys tells me, it's almost got to be.
That right?
Sure. Well, hand me that piece of red plastic, will you?
The what?
A piece of red plastic.
This here?
Yeah, that one. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. Oh, sure, it's got to be somebody who knows all about the stores. You know, when to hit the safes, when not to. Where they walk into the places, no marks on the doors, nothing broken.
You seem to know quite a bit about the burglaries.
Well, you know, I heard about them, talked to Gladys. Looks like an inside job to me. Say, officer.
Yeah?
Would you hand me one of those swivels there in the box?
What? Here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Now, clip it on here and hang this thing.
You just hang it up like that?
Yeah. Uh-huh. There, finished. Balance is good. Good movement. Yeah. Doves at sunrise.
That all it does, just hang there?
Yeah. What do you think of it? Of course, it isn't as good as war recumbent, but gets a feeling across, don't you think?
Yeah. Sure does. Doves at sunrise, huh?
Yeah. Doves at sunrise.
How about that?
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, sure. Joe?
Mrs. Hoffman.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You get it?
Who?
What?
Oh.
Doves at sunrise.
Yeah. Sergeant Friday.
Yeah.
It's your office.
Oh, thanks, Hoffman. Hello. Oh, yeah, Captain. Mm-hmm. No, we're here now. Yeah. Oh, well, he seems to. Yeah, who? All right, we'll be right in. All right, well, we got a call to make. What? Over on Pico? Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, right after that. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Wisdom? Yeah, he wants to see us. Yeah? We'll probably want to talk to you later, Mr. Hoffman. We can reach you at this number, is that right?
Yeah, either here or at the shop. If I'm not at either, Gladys knows where I am.
All right, I wonder if you could give us the address and the phone number of the place where you were last night.
Sure. Yeah. I've got a piece of paper here someplace. You never can find anything when you want it. Yeah. Oh, here we go. You got to go out there, huh? You can't take my word for it.
That isn't the point, Mr. Hoffman. We can't take anybody's word for it. If we don't know it, we got to check it out, see?
Suppose so. Oh, here you are. Ask for Rudy. He's the one who had the exhibition. He'll tell you.
Rudy, is that it?
Yes, that's right. I was with him all evening. He'll tell you.
Okay, thanks, Hoffman.
Oh, say,
Yeah?
I wonder if you could leave me your card and phone number.
Yeah, sure. Here you are.
Thank you. I'd like to give you a call.
Sir?
I'm holding my own show of mobiles. I'd like to have you two guys there.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You bet. I'll be calling you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. What'd the captain want, Joe? He's raising the roof. Says he just got a call from the corner pocket there leaning all over him. Yeah? Says he's tired of answering questions. Says we better come up with some of the answers for him. 12:58 a.m. Frank and I drove over to check on Alan Hoffman's alibi. We talked to Rudy Nixon. He told us that Hoffman had been with him until around 4:30 that morning. At that time, Nixon had dropped Hoffman off at his apartment. We drove back to the office and ran the name Rudy Nixon through R&I, but we got no make on anyone answering his description. 5:45 p.m. Frank and I reported for stakeout duty. The night went slow, and we came up with nothing. The next morning at 8:16 a.m., we checked back into the office. You know, as soon as we get this thing over with, I'm going to sleep a week. Oh, man, you got company. I'm going to tell Faye to send the kids out of town. If anybody calls me, tell them I just left for Hindustan by fast freight.
Well, how'd it go?
Nothing, Skipper. Sat there all night, not a thing. How about the other guys? Anything from them, Steve?
No, I just checked with Metro. None of their cars saw anything. The other men out there came in with the same. I'll get it. Burglary wisdom. Yes, ma'am. Well, what time was that? Right, we'll send a couple of men right out. Here's the address. They hit again.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Chesterfield is best for you. But let us give you the facts, and then you be your own judge.
Chesterfield is the first cigarette to present this scientific evidence on the effects of smoking.
A medical specialist is making regular bi-monthly examinations of a group of people from various walks of life. 45% of this group have smoked Chesterfield for an average of 10 years. After 8 months, the medical specialist reports that he observed no adverse effects on the nose, throat, and sinuses of the group from smoking Chesterfield. I'd say that means real mildness.
And Chesterfield is the first and only premium quality cigarette available in both regular and king size.
So buy 'em either way you like 'em, regular or king size. You'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Yes, Chesterfield is best for you.
Thursday, January 24th, 8:52 a.m. Frank and I drove out to see the latest victim of the burglars. The crew from the crime lab arrived and went over the place. The M.O. was exactly the same as in the previous steps. The front door had been unlocked, the safe had been opened, the contents taken, and then the safe closed. There was no physical evidence. However, on one point, the thief had varied his method of operation. The latest victim was the owner of a radio and television store. A check of his stock showed us that an expensive record player and a large stock of records were missing. We checked Metro Division, but they told us that none of their cars had reported seeing anyone on the streets carrying anything that fitted the description of the missing merchandise. The serial number of the set was given to us, and a local and an APB was gotten out on it. We talked to Lieutenant Stevens at Metro, and he agreed to double the number of cars cruising in the area that night. 3 more teams of men from burglary were assigned to the stakeout detail. 6:02 p.m. Frank and I checked in for duty. Nothing happened. 2 days passed. Still no new leads. All employees of the stores that were victimized were checked and rechecked. Nothing. Saturday, January 26th. Frank and I were assigned to a toy shop in the middle of the block. We waited. 8 p.m., 9, 10:30 p.m. Nothing.
Oh, boy, I'm stiff.
Yeah.
Joe?
Mm-hmm.
What time you got?
10:46.
I sure wish I could have a smoke.
Yeah. I wonder if he's going to show. What do you think?
I don't know. Been a long time.
11 o'clock. We waited. From time to time, we could see the lights of the undercover car go by the front entrance. Midnight. 12:30. Still nothing.
Joe? Want a piece of this candy bar?
No, I'm not hungry.
All right. Sure you don't want some?
No. I don't know. We've been in every store in this block. Past months, I don't think the guy's going to show.
This car's stale. Wait a minute.
What's that?
Somebody's moving something.
Sounds like a ventilator, doesn't it?
Hey.
Wait a minute, hold it. Yeah, look, see the ventilator on the far wall?
Where? Is it moving?
Yeah, somebody's coming out, they see? Going for the burglar alarm. See, look at that.
What did he do?
Snapped off the burglar alarm.
Oh.
He's at the safe.
Yeah.
He's got it open. Come on, let's take him. All right, mister, hold it right there.
Watch it, Joe. He's going for the ventilator.
I see him. Come on. You see him? No. He's up in there somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, come on out of there, mister. See him? No, I don't think so. Come on out of there, you! There he is, Joe. Gun flash. Yeah, I see. All right, come on, mister. Throw that gun out here.
Get out of here, cop. You come back here, I'll kill you.
You got no place to go up there. Now, come on, give it up.
I'm telling you, you come back here, I'll kill you. I will. I'm warning you, I'll kill you. Wait a minute. Wait. Don't shoot anymore. Please, don't shoot anymore, please. I quit, please.
All right, throw that gun out here. Come on.
All right. Here it is. There it is. You got it. Now, don't shoot anymore, huh? Please,
all right, come on out of there. Come on out of there.
What do you think?
You gonna come out of there? All right, we'll have to go in after him. Easy now. It's smoky in here. It's kind of a tight squeeze in it. Certainly, too. Looks like he's got some kind of a room up there, can you see? Okay, here we are. Hey, look at this. He's got himself a room. Yeah. Dug it right out of the earth here. All right, come on. Come out from behind that crate.
All right.
Get your hands behind your head.
I'm doing like you say. See, I got my hands just like you said. I quit.
All right, you want to shake them down?
Yeah. Come on.
Stand still.
Put your hands against the wall.
Yeah, he's clean, Joe. Now, what is all this in here?
Where I live.
All right, we'll take a look.
How about this, Joe? This room must be 20 feet square.
Mm-hmm. This all the stuff you stolen?
Yeah, most of it.
What's your name?
Warwick. Dan Warwick. Really had you guys going, didn't it?
All right, let's go.
Really had you. Couldn't figure it out. I used to watch you sit on the bench and watch you. Used to laugh how hard you were trying. Really had you going. Couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, sure. Come on, now let's go.
Really had you going. You never would have found me. Could have stayed here for years. Dug this room myself, every bit of it, all by myself. Stayed here when you guys were around, except when I watched you and the others. Couldn't figure out how I know about the safes. Used to just sit there and watch them. Watch them open the things. Simple once you know how. Really had you going, all of you.
Yeah, you bet you did.
Running around in circles. Real fun.
Yeah, well, we knew where we were going.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On May 17th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, it's getting a little closer to Christmas, and there's a man right near you, your neighborhood cigarette dealer, who has a lot of fine gift ideas. Of course, he's featuring the gift of the year, the Chesterfield Christmas carton. It's the ideal gift because Chesterfield is the only premium quality cigarette available to you in both regular and king size. Chesterfield is the one I smoke, and it's the one I'm giving for Christmas. Regular or king size. Premium quality Chesterfields are much milder.
Daniel Robert Warwick was tried and convicted of burglary in the first degree, 5 counts. Said counts to run consecutively. He received his sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the next 7 years of bigger and bigger enrollments, America's grade schools will need nearly 250,000 extra teachers, besides those to fill normal vacancies. Education holds America's future, perhaps your future.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Gwen Delano, Paul Richards. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Either way you like them, regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Tonight, more adventure with Barry Craig, confidential investigator, on NBC.
sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, the only cigarette in America to give you premium quality in both regular and king size, brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a narcotics detail. You receive information that a big buy of heroin is going to be made in your city. You know the location and the man who's going to sell it. Your job? Stop him. Thousands are changing to Chesterfield, both regular and king size, because only Chesterfield has premium quality in both sizes.
That means king-size Chesterfield contains tobaccos of better quality and higher price than any other king-size cigarette.
The same fine tobacco as in regular Chesterfield. There is absolutely no difference, except that king-size Chesterfield is larger, contains so much more of the same tobaccos, it gives more than a fifth longer smoke. Yes, more than a fifth longer smoke from king-size Chesterfield.
So remember, Chesterfield is the only cigarette to give you premium quality in both regular and king size.
Buy 'em either way you like 'em, regular or king size. You'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Yes, Chesterfield is best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, April 8th. It was windy in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of narcotics detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Kearney. My name's Friday. We were on our way to the meet, and it was 9:48 p.m. when we got to the corner of Pico and Clanton, the 617 Club.
Let's sit back there, huh?
Yeah, it looks all right.
What time you got, Joe?
9:49, why?
Well, this watch is giving me trouble.
Yeah?
I guess it's getting old.
You had it clean lately? Maybe that's what it needs.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Ran real good right after that. Just been lately, like I said.
I think maybe you ought to have it cleaned again. I was reading where they should be cleaned at least once a year. Did you know that?
No, this is getting old, Joe. Had it for almost 23 years. Got it when I graduated from high school.
Sure looks like it's still good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
Coffee for me, Frank.
Yeah, please.
2 coffees right away.
I didn't see him when we came in, did you?
No, we're early. Meet's not supposed to be until 10:30.
What's that?
I don't know.
Drink your coffee. Knock it off. Well, first thing you know, you're going to have everybody in the place looking at us.
I don't care. Let him look. I never wanted to do it. I never did.
Yeah, okay, you did it. Now, nothing you can do about it. Stop falling.
Hey, what's going on in the next booth?
I don't know. I can't see.
Easy for you to say you didn't do it.
You can stop falling. You bring a lot of attention over here with Bulk in the stand.
I can't help it. Everybody I see, I think it's a cop. A cop who knows all about it.
But cheap who's it done? Every time you get a couple of bells and you start to fall. Knock it off, huh?
Knock it off. Knock it off. If I had to do it over again, it would have been different. I tell you, it would have been different.
What do you think, Joe?
Oh, it sounds like they had too much to drink. I hope they get out of here. I don't want anything to louse up our body here.
Come on, let's
Sure,
go.
you get big man. You got no worries.
Come on, let's go.
You didn't kill the old lady.
Not so loud.
You didn't kill her.
Because of the high booth walls, we were unable to tell who was doing the talking. As soon as the men got up to leave the place, Frank and I followed them. Frank stopped long enough to call our contact and postpone the narcotics buy. We followed the 2 men from the bar down the street. They walked up to Spring, and then they split up. Frank followed one of them, I tailed the other. He went directly to a hotel on West 6th Street. He stopped and talked with a hotel clerk, and then he took the elevator upstairs. I checked with the clerk, and he told me that the man's name was Sam Allison. Clerk also told me that Allison had been a resident of the hotel off and on for the past 10 years. He went on to say that every so often Allison would pack up and leave, but that he'd always return. He was unable to give me any information as to how Allison made his living or who the other man might be. 12:10 a.m. I called the office. Frank had checked back in. The man he was following had entered an all-night movie, and in the darkness, Frank somehow had lost him. I went back to the office, and we sent a radiogram to Inspector Charlie Sutton up in San Francisco, requesting all information on unsolved murders in the Bay Area in the last few months. We ran the name Sam Allison through R&I, but we got no make on anyone answering his description. 2:15 a.m. We checked out of the office and went home to get some sleep. The following morning, Wednesday, April 9th, 7:58 a.m., I checked back into the office.
That you, Joe?
Yeah.
The message in the book to call Operator 18 in San Francisco.
Would you put the call in?
No, I just got in. Figured I'd wait a minute for you to get here.
All right, let's take care of it now. Now, Operator 18, San Francisco, please. Joe Friday, Los Angeles Police Department, Michigan, 5211. Yeah, that's right. Probably Charlie Sutton, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am? Oh, Charlie? Joe Friday. Yeah. Uh-huh. When? January 15th, huh? So how'd it happen? Uh-huh. Yeah. Can you talk a little louder, Charlie? Any description? Yeah, I see. Mm-hmm. Where? You sent it right down to us, huh? Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, Charlie. No, we don't know. No. Yeah, thanks again. Right, bye.
Anything?
Yeah, out at Land's End up in San Francisco. A woman was beaten to death. The San Francisco Police Department said that they'd forward all available information on the killing. From what Inspector Charlie Sutton had said, the victim had been robbed and beaten out in the Land's End area. There had been one witness to the murder, and we told the authorities in the Bay City that we would send them stand-up mugs of our suspect, Sam Allison. 9:37 a.m. Frank and I drove over to the hotel on West 6th. We talked to the desk clerk, and then we went upstairs to Allison's room.
Yeah, this must be at 3:05.
Yeah.
I'll try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah? Who is it?
Police officers, we'd like to talk to you.
Just a minute. Yeah?
You Sam Allison?
Yeah, that's right. What's the bit?
I'd like to talk to you.
What about?
Might be better if we talked inside.
All right, come on in. Well, what's this all about?
When I get dressed, I'd like to talk to you downtown.
What for? You got nothing on me.
Just like to talk to you. Come on, get dressed.
Oh, wait a minute. Look, you tell me what it's all about first, huh?
You've been up to San Francisco lately?
Why?
Have you?
Yeah, so what?
When?
I don't know. First of the year, I guess. Around there.
You narrow that down a little?
First part of January, I guess.
Where were you last night?
Around.
Where around?
Met a friend, had a couple of drinks, and came home just around.
Who's the friend?
Hey, look, I'm not going to answer any more of your questions until I know what this is all about.
Where are your clothes?
In the closet.
I'll get them.
We're getting real big, aren't we?
You tell us what you want, I'll get them.
That pinstripe. You know, the gray one right in front of you. You know, pinstripe?
That's it?
Yeah. Oh, in that bureau, second drawer, there's some shirts there. Give me one of the blue ones, will you? One with the tab collar and the little round things on it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Hey, when you guys figure out, let me know what this is all about.
What do you do for a living, Allison?
Oh, this and that.
All right, what's that mean?
I work with horses.
You a trainer, that it?
No, not exactly.
A tout?
No. Say, in that top drawer, there's a little velvet box. Got a collar bar in there. Would you get it for me, huh?
Here?
Yeah.
This the box?
That's right. The gold one.
Yeah. And what you want?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I got my shoes.
Wait a minute. Which ones do you want?
The black ones. It's the only pair.
Who were you drinking with last night, Allison?
Like I told you, a friend.
What's his name?
Look, I told you I wasn't going to say anything like find out what this is all about.
All right, Allison, I'm going to lay this out for you. We were in a bar last night, place down in Clanton. You there?
Clanton? Oh, you mean the 617 Club?
That's right.
Yeah, I was there. So what?
We were in the booth next to you. Heard you talk about killing a woman in San Francisco.
You're wrong about that.
Yeah, sure we are. Let's go downtown.
No, I mean it. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, sure, I was in the bar last night, but I don't know anything about killing an old broad up north.
Who said she was old?
Well, you just did.
No, he didn't. Said a woman had been killed. He didn't say anything about her age.
Well, from the way you said it, I figured she was old.
No, that won't work, Allison.
Look, you got no reason to think that I did that. No, you got no reason to think that.
You admit you were up north about the time it happened. You were in a bar last night talking about it. Now, you seem to know quite a bit about the whole thing for somebody who wasn't involved.
Well, maybe I just heard about it, you know.
Where'd you hear about it?
Well, around. Well, I don't know where, but... Well, I heard about it. Maybe that's what happened. But you guys know it wasn't me. You know that, don't you?
Who were you with last night?
You the one that did it? Is that it?
I don't know. I don't know if he did it or not. I don't know anything about it. All I know is I wasn't mixed up in it. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Who's Jack Kenton?
Kenton? I don't know any Kenton.
Well, he knows you according to this postcard in your drawer over here.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Sam, I'll be in town Monday night. Meet you at your hotel. It's signed Jack. There's a return address here, San Diego. Now, who is he?
Oh, yeah, Kenton. I forgot for a minute.
Well, maybe you forgot that he was with you in that bar last night, too, huh?
Well, what happens to me if I do remember? You going to find out?
I don't think so.
Was he the man you were with last night?
I don't want him to find out. I got big trouble if he does.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's the guy, but don't tell him I said so, will you? You won't tell him, huh? No, Jack would come after me if he knew. He's really off his rocker.
He is, huh?
Yeah, and he'd kill me if he knew. You guys are going to have trouble taking him, you know that, huh?
We are, huh?
Yeah, he's fallen a couple of times before. Done big time up at Q. Told me 100 times before. At least 100 times.
Yeah, what's that?
He killed the first cop that came after him.
11:17 a.m. Frank and I took Sam Allison down to the city hall. He was fingerprinted and mug shots were taken. A pair of stand-up mugs were sent to San Francisco immediately. We contacted the San Diego Police Department and asked them to put a stake out on the address that was on the postcard we found in Allison's room. In the event this Jack Kenton returned, they were to pick him up and call us. While we talked to them, they ran the name through their files and found that he had a minor record in San Diego dating back some 15 years. A check of our file showed that he'd served time in San Quentin for armed robbery and ADW while trying to commit a robbery. We got out a local and an APB on him. We talked to Allison. He told us that as far as he knew, Kenton was planning to return to San Diego on the preceding night. He couldn't give us any information as to where Kenton had stayed while he was in Los Angeles. 2 p.m. We got a call from San Diego that they'd picked up Jack Kenton. 2:30 p.m. Frank and I checked out a trip car and left for San Diego. We checked in with Lieutenant Mort Gear when we got there, and he told us that Kenton had been seen returning to his home right after we'd contacted them. We drove out to his place and searched it, but we found nothing to tie him in with a murder in San Francisco. 8:30 p.m. We left San Diego and returned to Los Angeles. On the return trip, Kenton was sullen and refused to answer any questions. We took him to the city hall. 1:15 a.m.
Oh, lousy deal. You guys are trying to tie a bum rap on me, and you know it.
Do we?
Sure.
You ever do any big time, Kenton?
No.
Never been in jail, huh?
Nope.
That's not what our record says.
Maybe a couple of tickets for traffic stuff.
Book says you served time at Q. How about that?
A couple of years, yeah.
Don't you figure that is big time?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Then why didn't you tell us about it?
Forgot.
You been in San Francisco lately?
Oh.
You sure?
I'm sure.
We got a rumble that you were up there around the first of the year.
That right?
Yeah.
Well, you tell your pigeon that he's not even a fruitcake if he says I was up in Frisco.
A couple other people will say you're up there, too.
Yeah, who?
A couple of people.
Well, they're offering that, too, if they say that.
The officers say so, too.
How do they figure that?
They got an ident on your picture.
I was never picked up in Frisco. They got no picture of me.
We got a few.
So I done time out L.A.
Yeah, you did. When we get a mug, we ship a copy up north. They do the same.
That right?
That's right.
So maybe I'll be big about all this. Admit I was in Frisco around the first of the year. What's that prove?
What'd you do while you were up there?
Moved around. Went up for vacation.
What do you do for a living?
A little of everything.
What's that include?
Like I said, a little of everything.
Mm-hmm. What'd you tell the parole board?
I tell them I'm a contractor.
What do you build?
Whatever needs building. I'm versatile.
You're pretty smart, too, aren't you?
Look, I know my rights. I know that you know that I'm an ex-con. You know it as well as I do. But there ain't no PV tab on my card. I don't go around the corner without telling the board. You got nothing on me for that.
They know you went to San Francisco?
Yeah, like I said, it was for a vacation.
Where'd you live up there?
Around. Hotel down on Geary.
How long were you there?
Maybe 3 weeks, month. Got a cigarette?
Yeah. Here.
Thanks. Thanks. What's this all about, anyway? What's the pitch with was I in Frisco?
You remember where you were last night?
Yeah, I was up here. I came up to see a friend.
Who's the friend?
I don't remember.
Where'd you see this friend?
Bar. Had a couple of drinks, and I went to a movie.
What bar?
I don't remember. Someplace downtown.
Over on Clanton, maybe?
Yeah, it could be. Like I said, I don't remember.
We figure it was the 617 Club on Clanton.
You know more than I do.
You were there with Sam Allison, isn't it, Ray?
Allison? Don't think I know anybody by that name.
He says he knows you.
Allison? No, I don't think I know anybody.
All right, now let's come off it, Kenton. We know you were there.
We were in the booth right next to you. We heard you talk about killing the woman in San Francisco. We heard every word you said.
Well, you must have been listening to somebody else. You got the wrong pitch all the way around. I wasn't there last night. I don't know any Sam Allison. I didn't kill anyone in San Francisco or any place else.
Bartender down there says he knows you. Says you were in the place last night. We saw you there ourselves.
You know, you guys ought to lay off that cheap booze. It's beginning to hit your eyes.
We got another witness who says you were there. He's willing to swear to it.
All right, so maybe I was. What's that proof?
Why'd you lie about it?
I didn't lie. I just forgot.
Maybe you forgot about San Francisco, too. Is that it?
No, I didn't forget about it.
You said you spent your time up north in the bar. Which bar?
Cookies.
Where's that?
On Kearney.
You got any way to prove you were there? This Cookies?
Sure, talk to Cookie himself. He'll tell you.
What's his last name?
I don't know.
You spend all this time with him, you don't know his last name.
Cookie, just plain Cookie. That's all you need to know to get a drink.
He ever done any time?
Not Cookie. He'll do almost anything to make a buck as long as he doesn't have to work for it. But he's never fallen that I know about. He's too busy watering the booze he sells.
You ever get down there Fisherman's Wharf up there?
Nope. Never left downtown.
And you couldn't have been down there on January 12th, now could you?
How do I know where I was on the 12th? I said I wasn't near the wharf. That means on the 12th, 13th, 14th, as far as you want to go. I don't know how else to say it. I wasn't down on Fisherman's Wharf. That where this woman got it?
Might have been, yeah. Doesn't make any difference, though. You didn't leave downtown, did you?
No, never left downtown. Geary Street for the hotel, Kearney Street for Cookies, that's all.
How about Land's End? Ever get out there?
Maybe if I write it out, maybe then you'll get what I'm trying to say. I was always downtown. I never left it. I didn't go to Land's End. I didn't go to Fisherman's Wharf. I didn't go to the tea gardens in the park. I never left downtown.
You're sure about that?
I've told you every way I know how. That's all I can do.
Yeah, well, there's something that doesn't jive here, Kenton.
What's that?
We got a call from San Francisco. They got a girl up there who was out on Land's End on January 15th. She says that she'll identify you as the man who killed the woman that night. She says she's positive.
Oh, that's why all this bit about was I someplace on January 12th, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Playing it real cozy, aren't you? Well, it won't work, cop. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm having none of it. Now, you guys go and try to figure some other way. You got nothing on me, nothing, and you know it. Now, if you're tired of playing games, either give me my walk-in papers or book me. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep.
The girl will be here in the morning, Kenton.
That's swell. I got to get my sleep then. I want to look real nice for her.
All right. Let's go.
You know, cop, that's one nice thing about the laws in this state.
Yeah?
I don't have to do a thing. Just sit and watch. You got to prove it. Any way you slice it, you got to do the work. I don't have to do a thing.
Yeah, that's right, Kenton. There's only one little difference.
Yeah?
We make you, and you got to do the time.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. Chesterfield is best for you. Premium quality Chesterfield.
Yes, only Chesterfield has premium quality in both regular and king size.
And only Chesterfield gives you this scientific evidence on the effects of smoking.
A medical specialist is making regular bi-monthly examinations of a group of people from various walks of life. 45% of this group, about half of them, have smoked Chesterfield for an average of over 10 years. After 8 months, the medical specialist reports that he observed no adverse effects on the nose, throat, and sinuses of the group from smoking Chesterfield. Those are the facts. I'd say that means real mildness. So buy 'em either way you like 'em, regular or king size. You'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Yes, Chesterfield is best for you.
3:39 a.m. We took Jack Kenton down and had some stand-up mugs made of him and sent to San Francisco. Kenton was booked at the main jail on suspicion of murder. 5:26 a.m. Frank and I checked out of the office and we went home. The next day at 1:30 p.m., we met with Captain Lorman, a homicide division, and talked over the developments with him. Together, we worked out a plan that we thought might work in getting Allison to admit to the murder. 4:15 p.m., we had Kenton brought from his cell in the main jail to the interrogation room at the city hall. We talked to him for 2 hours. He'd admit nothing.
Where's your witness? About time she got here, isn't it?
She'll be here.
We should get this thing over with. I'm getting a little sick of playing ring around the rosy with you boys. Maybe you haven't got anything else to do, but I have.
That right? What's so important, Kenton?
Got a heavy date down in San Diego tonight. This is Friday, isn't it?
That's right.
Real doll. Been trying to date with her for a couple of weeks. Finally made it. You guys think I'll be out of here by 6?
Depends on what the witness says.
How about a cigarette, huh?
Yeah. Here you are.
I got a match.
Cops find anything in my house?
What do you mean?
When they went through it. Look, I've been through this before. I know the bit as well as you guys do. Fella falls once, does some time, you cops never leave him alone.
You drink much, Kenton? You drink much?
Yeah, I have a highball once in a while. What's the matter? Something wrong with that? You guys going to give me a lecture on the evils of alcohol?
No, just trying to figure out what kind of a guy you are when you're loaded.
Well, I'm a doll. Living doll. Put on lampshades, tell funny stories. Life of the party, that's me.
You ever have a crying jag when you've been drinking?
Nope.
Sure about that?
Yeah.
The way we got it says you get a couple of belts in you, you start to bawl. Now, how about that?
Whoever told you that's lying?
Seems pretty sure about it, this fella.
You seem to have a lot of information from this fella of yours. Who is the guy?
Friend of ours.
Yeah? He sure isn't a friend of mine. Got an idea who it is. Sounds a lot like my friend Sam.
That's so.
Yeah, old Sam, the working man's friend.
Rumble we got says you were with him the night before last, is that right?
Oh, yeah. This is the night you guys were in the next booth and heard all the stuff about me killing the old broad. What's this bit about a rumble? You know it and I do. You picked up Sam, he talked his mouth out to save his own skin. You guys are about as coy as a bulldozer. Why don't you come off it? You're not working with an amateur. I've been around for a long time. I know the angles. You guys got nothing on me. You got nothing because I'm clean. Just want to be big men. Got nothing else to do, so you decided to kill a little time by leaning on somebody. I happen to be around. I got a record, so I fit your program real pretty. Well, get off my back. I've had it. Now, either book me on suspicion and I'll sue you for every last dime you got, or let me go. I got a date I want to keep.
That's a nice try, Ken. It won't work.
What do you mean?
All right, I'll lay out a few things for you. A woman was killed in San Francisco on January 15th. You were in town that day. You got a record for robbery and assault. Woman was robbed and then killed. You got blind one night and you talked all about it. You had a real crying jag and you got worried. You talked about how everybody you saw looked like a cop. They all looked like they knew what you'd done and they were moving to nail you for it. You got a real bad case of the bull horrors. We got a friend of yours who says you could have been the guy. We got an identification from a girl who says you killed that old woman. She's on her way down here now. As soon as she sees you and makes it positive, you had it, mister. Now, that's where you sit.
You talk real convincing. Makes it sound like you really got something on me.
We have, Kenton, and you know it. Let's check and see if that girl's here.
Yeah, I will. Got a cigarette?
Yeah, here. Now, what's the matter, Kenton? You figure maybe we aren't giving you a snow job?
No, I know where I stand. I'm just getting a little worried that maybe this girl might make a mistake. It could happen, you know. It's happened before.
Is that right?
Sure, lots of times. You know, somebody watches a thing like this, they aren't sure what they've really seen. Some college back east proved it.
That's so.
Had a deal where one of the students pretended he was going to knock off the teacher. After he'd done it, all the kids gave a different story of what happened. It happens all the time.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't do it, then you got nothing to worry about, have you?
No, I suppose not. She says she saw the guy, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Came all the way down here to look at me, huh?
Yep.
You figure she's here yet?
Should be. Her plane landed an hour ago.
Mm-hmm. You say she identified my picture? She said I was the guy?
I didn't hear it. It just come in there.
That's him. That's the man. He killed her. I saw it. I'd never forget him. That's the man.
She's crazy. She's wrong. You know that, don't you? She's wrong.
Let him touch me. The man's a murderer. He killed the old woman. I saw him. Beat her to death. I saw him do it.
All right, lady.
Okay, yeah. All right, Miss Carter. You want to step outside?
Oh, yes, please. I want to get away from him. I don't ever want to have to look at him again.
How about it?
I didn't see her. I didn't know anybody was around. I didn't mean to kill the old woman. I didn't. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, sure.
She wouldn't give me her purse. I followed her from downtown, all the way out on the streetcar. I got out and followed her. Right by Sutro's, by the Cliff House. Then I tried to take the money. She wouldn't give it to me. Only about $30. Why didn't she give it to me? $30, it wasn't worth it to her. For $30. It'd have been all right if that girl hadn't seen. I looked, tried to make sure nobody saw. I didn't see her. I didn't.
You want to stay with him, Frank, while I get the stenographer?
Yeah, Joe, go ahead.
Okay.
Did it work, Sergeant?
Yeah, it worked fine.
Funny, I was scared stiff when I went in. Wasn't sure I could carry it off.
Well, it worked fine. He topped out, admitted everything.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'll go on back to work.
Thanks, Stella. Look, will you tell Cunningham and I'll give him a ring, will you?
Yeah. Say, Sergeant,
Yeah.
thanks for letting me help. You know, filing packages in R&I gets a little dull now and then.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 17th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, it's getting a little closer to Christmas, and there's a man right near you, your neighborhood cigarette dealer, who has a lot of fine gift ideas. Of course, he's featuring the gift of the year, the Chesterfield Christmas carton. It's the ideal gift because Chesterfield is the only premium quality cigarette available to you in both regular and king size. Chesterfield is the one I smoke, and it's the one I'm giving for Christmas. Regular or king size. Premium quality Chesterfields are much milder.
Jack Gerald Kenton was tried and found guilty of murder in the first degree. He is now serving a life sentence in the state penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
Ladies and gentlemen, until everyone is safe, no one is safe from tuberculosis. Help save lives by buying all the Christmas seals you can and using Christmas seals on all your Christmas mail.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Virginia Gregg, Harry Bartell. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Either way you like them, regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A small boy is reported missing from his home. His age, 9 years. Foul play is suspected. Your job, find him. Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, December 22nd. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of Homicide Division. My partner is Frank Smith. The boss is Thad Brown, chief detective. My name's Friday. I was on the way into work, and it was 3:55 p.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
Hi, Joe.
Frank, what's doing?
Oh, nothing. Pretty quiet.
How's your mother? Oh, that cold's still hanging on. Bad cough. Doc says nothing serious, though.
My kid's got the same thing. Must be some kind of a virus going around.
Yeah, maybe so. You got all the reports on that Webster case yet?
Yeah, all taken care of.
Good. I get it. Homicide, Friday.
This is Levinson, Unit 11J1. Got something for you.
Yeah, Harry, what's doing?
Doherty and I are out here on Hollis Avenue, 4656, trying to track down a 9-year-old boy.
Well, what's the story?
Kid's missing. Suspicion of foul play.
Yeah? How long has he been gone?
About 2 hours. Looks like a job for homicide.
How'd he figure?
The kid was last seen playing in the backyard of his home.
Yeah?
We checked over the yard.
Did you find anything?
Blood stains, lots of them. They look new.
Frank and I left a message for Chief Detective Thad Brown. Then we went over to the crime lab, picked up Ray Pinker, and drove out the Arroyo Seco Freeway to Hollis Avenue. It was an average neighborhood. Number 4656 was a one-story green stucco residence situated on the corner of Hollis Avenue and Harrison Drive. Beyond the backyard was a tract of undeveloped land, covered with scrub oak. Harry Levinson from Highland Park Juvenile was waiting for us in front of the house.
Back this way, fellas. You coming, Ray? Better get my bag.
Who notified you the boy was missing, Harry?
The mother said she went down to do some Christmas shopping about 11 this morning, left the boy home. Came back about 2 this afternoon. He was gone.
What's the name?
Johnstone. The kid's name is Stanley, 9 years old.
Was the gate open like this when you got here?
Yeah, we haven't touched a thing. Hey, the stain's over here, Mr. Pinker, along the edge of the walk there, you see?
Yeah, let me see. Quite a few things, huh?
Looks like it might be blood. Try some benzidine on him. There we are. See what happened.
Where's the kid's mother now, Harry?
She's in the house. Doherty's talking to her.
You talked to any of the neighbors?
Yeah, the people next door, the ones on this side. They couldn't tell us anything. There it is, fellas.
Yeah, Rick?
These spots I covered with benzidine, they're turning blue. Blood stains, all right. Can't say definitely whether it's human or animal.
You have to go back to the lab to run it through?
Yeah. Biological citizen test. Any one of those glass vials in the bag, will you?
One of these?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks. Scrape some of these flakes off the test. There we are.
How soon can you type the blood for us, Ray?
Precipitin test won't run more than 20 minutes. Take 3-4 hours to run blood grouping, though. That's it. Anything else you want to check?
Let me see. Anything else?
Yeah, right here under this tin can. Empty shell.
22, huh?
Yeah, it might tie in, might not. Mark it and dump it in this envelope, will you?
Sure.
There you go.
You got a missing broadcast on the boy, Harry?
Yeah, Doherty did about half an hour ago. Here's the description right here.
Thanks. Mother know about the blood stains?
No, we didn't tell her. She's worried enough already.
She has no idea what might have happened to her boy, huh?
No more than we do. Checked all the friends, relatives. We're covering the neighborhood. No trace so far.
Not much to go on.
Blood stains, empty cartridge.
It could mean 100 things.
Any ideas, Friday?
Just one, and I don't like it. 4:30 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. The neighborhood search for 9-year-old Stanley Johnstone continued. Ray Pinker went back to the crime lab to start the precipitin test and the blood grouping. Levinson and his partner Doherty from Highland Juvenile stood by. We called Chief Detective Thad Brown, and he ordered up a special detail to aid in the search for the missing boy. Frank and I questioned the boy's mother, Mrs. Ruth Johnstone, a woman in her early 40s. She seemed fairly calm under the circumstances.
Mrs. Johnstone, is your boy Stanley in the habit of wandering off without telling you where he's going?
No, he's not in the habit of wandering off, but he has done it before.
When was the last time, Miss Johnstone?
You don't have any children, do you, Sergeant Friday?
No, ma'am.
Well, there comes that time in every young boy's life when he feels that it's time to leave home. Go out on his own. Usually happens somewhere around 8 to 10.
Yes, ma'am. I think I know what you mean. I have a boy.
Well, then you know how it is. My husband and I scolded Stanley one afternoon after school, and he was quite put out about it. Thought George and I were unfair. Packed a few of his things and left.
Well, how long was he gone, ma'am?
Oh, no time at all. About 2 hours. I was worried about him, but my husband said to leave him alone. Said every boy had to go through that stage.
Well, then you think he's run away from home again this time, do you?
Yes, I think so. He's been gone about 4 hours now. Oh, I have a funny feeling about it.
Did you and your father happen to have some misunderstanding with the boy recently?
Well, that's just it. We haven't. I don't mind telling you now that we're talking about it. I'm getting worried.
Any place around that you might like to visit? A hobby shop or a playground, something like that, where you might be?
Yes, there's Johnson's model shop, Little Helen Woods, but I've already called there and he hasn't been seen all day. I've called all of his friends, and they have no idea either.
Mm-hmm. We'd like a list of all of his friends and the places that he was known to frequent, ma'am.
Yes, all right. I'll give them to you. Where do you suppose he is?
Where's your husband now, Mrs. Johnstone?
At work. George works for the city. He's a fireman.
Uh-huh. What house is he stationed at?
Engine Company 12. He's working the A platoon. He'll be home tomorrow morning. I haven't told him that Stanley's gone.
Was there any chance that the boy might be down at the firehouse with his father?
No, he seldom goes down there anymore. No, I don't think he's there. I'm awfully worried. May I call my husband?
Well, certainly. You go right ahead.
I know George will be worried. Stanley's been gone too long. Hello. May I speak with George Johnstone? This is Mrs. Johnstone. Thank you. I hate to call George at his work.
Yes, sir. Does your husband own a gun, ma'am?
Yes, he does.
What caliber, would you know?
It's a .45 automatic. He's got it now. George? Well, this is Ruth. George, is Stanley down there with you by any chance? Oh, no, I can't find him anywhere. He wasn't here when I came home from doing my shopping. There are 2 policemen here. No, I said there are 2 policemen here. No, dear, I'll call you if we don't find him soon. Oh, all right. Yes, you too. Bye. I didn't think he'd be with George.
Oh, that .45, is that the only gun in the household?
Yes. Why are you asking about guns? Has anything happened that you're not telling me about?
No, ma'am, just routine checking. We'll have to take a look at that .45 if you don't mind.
Maybe I should tell you we do have another gun in the house, but it's all wrapped up. George got it for Stanley's Christmas present.
Well, if we can look at it, please.
Yes, will you have to unwrap it?
I'm afraid so.
I think I can reach it. You had to hide it. Let me see. Well, here's the paper it was wrapped in. Stanley must have found it. It's gone. You see? Here's the gift card and the box the gun came in. The rifle.
Uh-huh. Could I look at the box, ma'am? Thank you. How about it, Joe? .22 caliber. Thursday, December 22nd, 5:15 p.m. It was getting dark. The search for the missing boy continued. We checked the list of Stanley Johnstone's friends. None of them or their parents had any idea of his whereabouts. We talked with Levinson again. He'd been in touch with the detail combing the neighborhood, but they'd found nothing. We went down to Hollis Avenue and 10th Street, service station on the corner. You want a dime, Joe? No, I got one. You watch the chief Browner. Yeah. How are you coming?
Thanks. The service test. It's human blood. Working on a blood group now. You know what type the Johnstone boy had?
Well, we didn't want to upset his mother. Thought I'd wait till the last thing. We're in the neighborhood.
Check with the family physician. That way you won't disturb her.
Yeah, we figured on that. Keep him this way. Yeah, thanks. The boss is cold. Ray, say that Brown's out here now. Check you later, huh?
Right, Joe.
Right.
Thanks.
We just checked with Ray Pinker.
Yeah, I know. It's human blood. What do you think?
We talked with the boy's mother, Mrs. Johnstone. Found the gun missing.
Yep.
Caliber's the same as the empty casing Levinson found, .22.
He said the gun was missing.
Yeah, the Johnstones were going to give it to the boy as a Christmas present. They had it hidden, but it's gone now.
Any idea who took it?
Well, whoever it was, they left the Christmas wrapping behind. I think maybe it was the kid.
.22 rifle, huh? 9-year-old boy. When are we going to learn? First, it's carbide cannons on the 4th of July. The city issued ordinance after ordinance, but a few thousand kids around the country had to lose their eyes, fingers, hands, before the parents could give us their full cooperation to outlaw them.
I know what you mean.
Sure you do. You and every other cop in the country became the heavies trying to clamp down on them. Always the same story. This time it's guns for Christmas.
Oh, I know what you're thinking, Chief, but we're not sure yet.
Listen, Friday, there's a city ordinance against giving a gun to a kid. Now, you know that.
Yeah, I know that.
There's a missing boy and a missing gun. There's blood on the ground and an empty shell. That's enough for me.
We're going to stay with it, Chief. Something's got to break.
Yeah. I hope it's not the house of that kid's parents.
Hi, Chief. I've been looking for you, Friday.
Yeah, what do you got, Harry?
Found the gun, a new .22 rifle. I'd say it's been fired recently.
Where'd you find it, Levinson?
Back up there in that scrub oak behind the Johnstone house. Mrs. Johnstone identified it. Buckley took it down to the crime lab.
Thanks, Harry. Miss Johnstone okay?
She's pretty sick now. She'll be getting up with something else.
What's that?
There's another one missing. An 8-year-old boy.
6:30 p.m. We talked with Officer Killaby about the other missing boy. He told us that his name was Stephen Martin, 8 years old. His family had just moved into the neighborhood. It seemed that no one besides the Martin family knew that the boys played together. Mrs. Martin told us that Stephen told her that he was going out to play and he'd be home by 6 o'clock for dinner. She told us that he was an unusually prompt boy and almost never overstayed his playtime. We got a description of the Martin boy and put out a missing broadcast. We called the Johnstone family doctor. He told us that Stanley's blood was type O. At 7 p.m., we talked again with Mrs. John Martin.
Are you sure Mrs. Johnson doesn't know where the boys are?
She has no idea, Mrs. Martin.
Oh, this is terrible. Just awful. I feel there's more to this thing, something you're not telling me.
Well, there's no use to upset you until we know a few more things for sure, ma'am.
Then you are holding something back.
Well, please try not to worry, Miss Martin. There's certain questions we have to ask, routine questions in any kind of investigation.
Is there anything else you want to know?
Yes, ma'am. What's your boy's blood type?
Funny question. Do you think anything's happened to him? Have you found him and you're not telling me?
No, ma'am. We haven't found him, and we don't think anything's happened to him.
His blood type, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think I have it written down in Stevie's baby book. Yes. Yes, here it is. The type is O.
Type O, thank you. I wonder if I can use your phone.
Oh, yes, of course. It's in the hall.
Be right back, Frank.
Yeah.
Hello.
2667, please.
2667.
Hi, Ray. It's Friday.
Yeah, did you get the blood types on the two missing boys?
Yeah, both type O.
So were the stains, Joe. Type O.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. The modern way to sell cigarettes is the Chesterfield way, both regular and king size. And we're the only one that does it. We tell you what Chesterfields are made of to give you premium quality in both popular sizes. Our scientists select the best materials. They select for Chesterfield the world's best tobaccos, blend them just right, and they keep Chesterfields tasty and fresh with the best of moistening agents. Now here's something else that's completely modern about Chesterfield. People smoke 8 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. Still no sign of either of the missing boys. Chief Detective Thad Brown went back to headquarters to direct the search from there. He dispatched another detail of 50 men to aid in the hunt for the missing youngsters. 8:30 p.m. It was getting colder. The citrus growers were warned to expect a freeze. We went back up the block to see Mrs. Johnstone. Her husband had quit work early and returned home. We talked with him. He could tell us nothing more than we already knew. We still had not informed either of the families about the blood stains and the empty cartridge casing which had been discovered in the backyard of the Johnstone home. It was more than possible that they had a right to know about our findings, but Frank and I felt there was no cause to add to their distress at this particular time. If the two missing boys were found alive and well, then the blood stains in the cartridge would be of no concern to the relieved parents. At 8:40 p.m., Frank and I left the Johnstone house and went to the home of Mr. and Mrs. John Martin.
Mrs. Martin, you said your husband worked at the market.
Yes. He telephoned about 15 minutes ago and said he was closing up right away. He'd be here any minute. I do wish Stevie would call or come home. It's so cold out tonight. All he had on was a thin cotton jacket.
We'll try not to worry. We're doing everything we can. He'll be all right.
Stevie's father's such a sensitive man. He and the boy are so close. I know he's terribly upset.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure there's no place you might have forgotten? Some place where the boy might be?
No place. No. If anything's happened to the boy, it was a kill, John.
Mrs. Martin. You just sit still. I'll get it.
Thank you.
Joe?
Yes, Harry. Johnstone case been found.
He's home, Sergeant. He's come home. Thank God he's all right.
Well, where's he been? Did he tell you?
No, he didn't. His clothes are all dirty, and he's acting strange. I've never seen him like this.
How do you mean, Mrs. Johnstone?
Well, he just came in the front door and said, "Hello, Mom," and then he sat down in a chair and stared at the floor. He talked to his father, and
Mind if I talk to him?
No, go ahead. I asked him about the little Martin boy. He wouldn't tell me a thing.
Well, where is he now?
Right over there in the living room.
Oh, yeah. Looks all right.
Yes. Son, this is a police officer. He wants to talk to you. Don't be afraid, dear. He only wants to ask you some questions. Son. You see, Sergeant?
Yes, ma'am. Stanley? Come on, boy, look at me. Come on, youngster, get your head up. No, that's better. You had your mother pretty worried, you know that? You want to tell us where you've been?
I wish you'd try to get him to eat a little something.
You hear that, son? You want something to eat? Stanley, there's another little boy up the street who hasn't come home. Do you know where he is? His father and mother are worried about him, too, just like your folks were. You gotta help us find him, son.
I killed him. I killed Steve with the .22. We only planned that I killed him.
How do you know you killed him? Maybe he's only hurt now, isn't he?
No, he's dead. I know he's dead. The gun went off. We forgot we put bullets in it.
Well, where is he, Stanley?
I hit him. I was scared. I didn't want anybody to find him.
Where did you hide him, son?
In a cave up on the hill. I didn't mean it. He was my pal.
Do you want to show us where, Stanley?
Yes, sir. I'll show you. Please don't send me to jail.
9:15 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. 9-year-old Stanley Johnstone led the way up the hill behind the backyard of his home. He showed us the wagon he'd moved the body in. His father came along with us. About 50 feet from the crest of the hill, the boy pointed to a thicket of scrub oak. There we found a small cave holding the body of Stephen Martin. There was a single bullet wound in his chest just below his heart. He was dead. We covered the body. Stanley, how did it happen?
I knew my folks were going to give me a bill for Christmas. I knew where it was and I got it. There was a box of bullets with it.
Were you pointing your gun at Stephen's son?
No, sir. No, sir, I wasn't. It was Steve's turn to play with it. I was chasing him. He tripped over that stencil and he fell. The gun hit him in the stomach and went off.
Now, why do you think you killed him if you're telling us the truth here?
I'm telling the truth. Honest, it's the truth.
All right, I believe you, son. But why do you think you killed him?
It's my gun. It's given me life. I didn't go get it. I should have waited till Christmas. It's all my fault.
Where have you been all this time?
In the cave with Steve.
What were you doing in there, son?
I was praying. I was praying for God to make him alive again.
After a thorough investigation, Frank and I were convinced that the shooting of Stephen Martin was accidental. Ray Pinker's findings substantiated the Johnstone boy's story, even to the smallest detail. We put in a call to the coroner's office and acquainted him with the facts. He designated a local mortuary to handle the body pending autopsy and granted us permission to remove the body to the Martin home. Mrs. Martin collapsed. The family doctor was called. Frank and I sat in the living room to wait for John Martin, the dead boy's father.
Ada? Ada?
Mr. Martin?
Yes. You're the police?
Yes, sir.
Where's Edith? Where's my wife? Has my boy come home? Well, is he? I want to see him.
He's hurt pretty bad, Martin.
Well, where is he? I want to see him. How bad?
Pretty bad.
He's dead. All right, if I go in.
Yes, sir, if you want to.
Will you go with me?
Yes, sir. Don't make it any harder on yourself, Mr. Martin.
I want to see my boy. Listen to me, son. I got a lot of nice things for Christmas. Anything you wanted. I got you just 3 new cars for the train. The one with the searchlight on it really works, son. I got you the switch you wanted. Never so attractive. No. Oh, you can never be that baseball with me. Oh, I got it for you. The cowboy partner wanted me. I got it
Mr. Martin.
Sorry. What happened?
It was an accident. He was playing with a Johnstone boy up the street, playing with a gun. It went off.
What was the other boy's name?
Stanley Johnstone. It was an accident. Mr. Martin, where are you going?
I want to see that boy.
We had no idea what the dead boy's father had in mind. We didn't feel that we should try to restrain him. We went along with him up the street to the Johnstone home.
I'm Stevie's father. Where's your boy?
I'm sorry.
Where's your boy?
He's right here. Won't you come in?
All right, Miss Johnstone.
You were the boy that was with Stevie.
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Stanley. I'm sorry, Mr. Martin.
I know it wasn't your fault, Stanley. I wonder if you'd do something for me.
Yes, sir.
I've got a lot of nice presents for Stevie. I know he'd want you to have them. I want to give them to you. Christmas Eve.
Mom? I think that'd be a fine idea, son.
Come on, Frank.
Yeah.
Well, what's it all prove, Joe? You don't give a kid a gun for Christmas.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 24th, the coroner's inquest was held in the county morgue, county of Los Angeles, state of California. In a moment, the results of that inquest. At the coroner's inquest, it was officially recorded that Stephen Martin's death was the result of an accident. Stanley Johnstone was absolved of any legal responsibility for his friend's death.
just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, William Johnstone, Sammy Ogg. Script by Jim Moser. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, the only cigarette in America to give you premium quality in both regular and king size, brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A series of holdups takes place in your city. The victims are managers of large markets. You've got a description of the suspect. Your job, get him.
Thousands are changing to Chesterfield, both regular and king size, because only Chesterfield has premium quality in both sizes. That means king-size Chesterfield contains tobaccos of better quality and higher price than any other king-size cigarette. The same fine tobacco as in regular Chesterfield. There is absolutely no difference, except that king-size Chesterfield is larger, contains so much more of the same tobaccos, it gives more than a fifth longer smoke. Yes, more than a fifth longer smoke from king-size Chesterfields. So remember, Chesterfield is the only cigarette to give you premium quality in both regular and king size. Buy 'em either way you like 'em, regular or king size. You'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Yes, Chesterfield is best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, February 7th. It was raining in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. I was on the way back from R&I, and it was 8:42 a.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery.
You, Joe?
Yeah.
Where you been?
Gone to R&I.
Oh, I'm sorry I'm late.
No, it's no problem.
Couldn't get the car started. The battery was dead. I had to call the gas station and have them get me started.
Well, don't worry about it. It's okay. Anything here in the book?
No. Checked him when I got in. Had a 211 out in Westwood last night. Same M.O. Might be the guy.
Who's checking it?
Murph and Creasy went out there this morning.
Here's the stuff we got last night. R&I went through it. Doesn't look like they got anything. You seen the skipper yet?
No, I saw him come in. I didn't talk to him. Came in, went to his office carrying a bottle of milk.
Well, that figures.
He's like a barometer, isn't he, Joe? When there's no milk on his desk, you know everything's under control.
Yeah.
As soon as that milk comes out, you know the ulcers are grinding.
Yeah, I suppose.
That must be real rough on him, though. The way the papers have been yakking about this thing. I saw Captain Jack this morning on the way in.
Yeah.
He said the corner pocket's leaning all over him.
Well, there's got to be an answer someplace. The guy can't just keep walking into the stores and walking out again. He's got to make a mistake someplace.
Yeah. What's it figure? 6 jobs so far?
Yeah, 6 of them. Every one of them he's made it clean. Hot shot. I'll get it. Well, those figures were wrong.
Yeah?
He just made it 7. For the past 2 months, a hold-up man had been hitting markets throughout the central area. In each case, the description of the bandit was the same. His M.O. tallied with that used in other robberies. In each instance, the bandit had been waiting for the manager of the market when the store was open. At gunpoint, the suspect would force the manager to accompany him around the market. He'd push a wire food cart in front of him as they walked. He'd pick up various merchandise and place it in the basket. He'd then force the manager to open the safe, clean it out, lock the manager in a cold storage vault, and walk out of the market pushing the food cart in front of him. Special stakeouts had been arranged at the markets. Extra units from Metro Division had been assigned to patrol duty, but the holdups continued. 9:22 a.m. Frank and I got to the address of the latest robbery, the county market at the corner of Olympic and Maryland. A radio car was there when we arrived.
Oh, yeah. Yes, something you wanted?
Police officers. It's my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hello, I'm Arthur Scott. I'm the manager here. You got that man did this yet?
No, sir, not yet. I wonder if you could tell us just what happened.
Sure.
You know where the other officers are, Mr. Scott?
Outside someplace. They were talking to the others, getting names and addresses, something like that.
You want to check them, Frank?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I wonder if you'd mind telling me just what happened.
Well, the man was waiting for me when I came in this morning. I don't know how he got in. He just walked up behind me and said that I shouldn't cause any trouble.
About what time was this, do you remember?
Well, let's see. It must have been about 7:10, 7:15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I came in the front door. Everything looked all right. Walked back here on my way to the office. He just came up in back of me.
Yes, sir.
Had this gun. He pointed at me, told me not to cause any trouble, like I said.
What kind of a gun was it? Would you remember?
It was just a gun. He pointed it right at me.
Well, I understand that, sir. Do you remember if it was an automatic or a revolver?
I guess it was a revolver, long barrel. I could see the bullets in it. I knew it was loaded. I wasn't going to mess with him.
Yes, sir. Now, what happened after he walked up to you?
He told me that if I went along with him, I wouldn't get hurt. And then he walked me up to the front of the store by the check stands, took one of the baskets, and started to walk along the racks. Made me walk in front of him. Real nervy. Took his time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, while we walked along, he'd take things out of the displays.
Well, what kind of things?
Well, you know, different kind of cheeses, caviar, took some special artichoke hearts. Things cost $1.50 a jar. Expensive.
Yes, sir. What did the man look like, Mr. Scott? Can you give us any kind of a description?
Well, that's kind of hard. He had on this big overcoat and a brown hat pulled down, and then the black mask over his face. I couldn't get a very good look at him.
Well, how old would you say he was?
Oh, boy, I'd have to guess on that. Maybe 50, 55. Looked that old anyway. About all I could see was the bottom part of his face, like he was pretty old.
Mm-hmm. How about the color of his eyes? Could you see them?
Yeah, through the mask they were blue. Real light blue, kind of watery.
About how tall would you say he was?
Maybe 5'2" or 3. Short little man.
Mm-hmm. How about his weight?
Real little, like I said. I don't think he weighed more than 130. That'd be outside, too.
Was there anything unusual about him? Anything at all that you can remember?
No, not that I can remember.
Anything in the way he talked? Some accent of any kind? Anything like that?
No, nothing at all there.
Mm-hmm. How about the coat he was wearing? What color was that? Do you remember?
It was a dark brown, sort of a herringbone. Looked real old, like it'd been worn for a long time, kind of frayed around the edges of the cuffs. You know, around here like this, and the buttonholes on the coat were all torn, too. Oh, excuse me.
Yes, sir, go right ahead.
Scott? Yeah. How much? Yeah, and how much case? Mm-hmm. That's not too bad. Yeah, we'll order 25 cases of it, huh? We'll use it as a loss leader this weekend. Okay. Well, don't bother me about it now. You do what you think. Okay. Seems like nobody can do anything but you. Give people a little responsibility, they hardly ever know how to use it.
Yes, sir. Wonder if you'd go ahead with your story.
Hmm?
Well, right after this man picked up the food?
Oh, well, at first I thought he was going to take that. And then I got thinking about the stuff in the papers. You know about the Black Mask Bandit?
Yes, sir.
Well, I got thinking about that, and then I knew who he was. I tried to get as much information about him as I could. Not much, anyway. About this time must have been 7:30 or so. Jack Thomas came in. He works in the vegetable department. And right away, this guy said for him to get in the back.
You mean back here?
No, back in the meat department. Put him right in the refrigerator.
Well, what about the other employees? What happened when they came in?
He'd make them get back in the refrigerator. Cold. People were pretty lucky. Being how it was cold outside, most of them had coats on. Would have froze if they didn't have.
I understand.
Customers, too. They'd come in, he'd put them in the refrigerator. There was 14 people in there when he got through. A couple of kids, too. Came in with their mothers.
I see.
Well, then he took me back to the safe, made me open it. I thought about saying no, but it's a little safe, you know, down low.
Yes, sir.
Well, I knelt down to work the combination. I looked up at him, had the gun pointed right at my head. I looked right into the barrel, saw the bullets in the cylinders. I was scared, and I opened the safe. He took the money and put it in a paper bag and dropped it into the basket.
And he put you in the refrigerator, too, did he?
Yeah, that is, he started to. When he opened the door, the people in there were all shivering, flailing their arms around, trying to keep warm. It's a little room, not much bigger than this, and there wasn't much room to flail. Anyway, they asked him if he wouldn't let him out. He said no, but then he asked me if there was someplace else he could put him. And I told him that the only place I could think of was another storage room. We use it sometimes when we got a real big shipment of meat. Don't usually keep it under refrigeration.
I see. He let you all go there, huh?
Yeah, the darndest thing I ever saw. 14 of them. All 14 herded them just like cattle. Moved them all to the other cooler. They were all so cold they'd have done anything to get out of that one. I tell you, officer, I was scared that one of them might try to be brave about it and cause trouble. I think that guy would have killed him right on the spot.
Yes, sir. Well, what did he do then?
Well, he locked the door. Then, from what I could see through the cooler window, he just strolled out of the store and down the street. He was still wheeling a basket in front of him.
Anything, Frank?
Yeah, Joe. I checked with Wheelock from the radio car. He said they canvassed the neighborhood, came up with a man who thinks he saw the bandit drive away.
Was he able to give us any kind of a description on the car?
No. Said he saw this guy walking down the street pushing a basket and thought it was kind of funny. Didn't pay too much attention to it. Saw him get into a late model Ford and drive away. Couldn't give a very good description of the car. Said it was a dark color. Not sure about the year.
The guy still had that mask on?
No. Didn't have the mask, but the fellow didn't notice anything about his face. Can't help us much there. He's going to come down and look through the mug books.
Oh, that's good. Do you have any idea how much money was taken here, sir?
Well, no, I can't tell you to the penny, but I figure about $3,500.
You usually keep this much money on hand, do you?
No, not as a rule. I didn't get to the bank yesterday. We had an inventory sale going on. I just didn't get the chance.
Did the bandit take anything you think might help us identify him? Anything from the safe that you might be able to describe?
No, not a thing. Just the money. Of course, that's enough. There wasn't much in there. A wristwatch that was lost here in the store. He looked at that but threw it back into the safe.
Was he wearing gloves, do you remember?
Yeah, he was. Looked like pigskin, sort of a light tan. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what you're thinking about, fingerprints. Oh, with those gloves, he wouldn't leave any.
Yes, sir.
Say, officer.
Yeah?
You talked to the other officer that was here, the one in the car?
Yes, sir, I did.
He was kind of in charge of the people in the icebox, took care of them. Was any of them hurt?
No, sir. Some of them were pretty cold, but they were all right.
Yeah, we keep that box turned way down to sub-zero.
Yes, sir.
I wonder if, as police officers, you'd mind talking to those folks. They're all good customers here. I'd hate to lose them to Frenchie's Fine Foods down the street.
Where's that, sir?
Frenchie's Market just down the street. He's going to make a big thing out of this. By noontime, it'll be all over the neighborhood.
Well, I'm sure none of your customers will blame you, sir.
Well, no, officer, it ain't exactly that. That Frenchie's going to make a big reputation on my back.
Well, Mr. Scott, markets have been held up before.
Yeah, but not with our motto.
What's that?
We freeze anything.
9:46 a.m. Frank and I continued to talk to Arthur Scott. We questioned him about the actions of the hold-up man, but he was unable to give us any new information. The crime lab came out and checked the store. The M.O. was the same. He'd entered through a rear window. Tool marks were found. Photographs were taken. No other physical evidence was found. 10:14 a.m. We drove back to the office and checked with Captain Didion. 3 other teams of men were assigned to help us in interviewing the people who had been locked up in the refrigerator. None of them could add anything to what we already knew. Because of the age of the bandit and the smoothness with which he operated, we had a hunch that he might have served some time in a state prison. Frank and I checked out a trip car and drove up to Folsom Penitentiary. We checked with Warden Heinze and told him what we wanted. For the next 2 days, we checked the prison files. We got several possible leads, but when we got back to Los Angeles, none of them led anywhere. Tuesday, February 12th, 8:49 a.m. We checked with Captain Didion.
Well, you come up with anything?
No, not a thing, Skipper. We checked them all out. Nothing.
How much longer do you figure it's going to take you to come up with something we can use?
We're doing everything we can. We've run down every lead.
They all go nowhere. Yeah, I know. I've been telling the corner pocket that all month. It doesn't prove a thing, and they aren't buying it anymore.
Well, Frank and I got an idea, Skipper. It's kind of wild, but might turn it.
Well, let's hear it.
Well, if you take a look at the map over here. In the last 2 months, he's hit 7 places here. Here, through here, and up and through here. Not much of a pattern, but maybe there's enough to work on here.
Mm-hmm.
From the way he's worked in the past, he's going to be waiting in the stores when the manager comes in. So the problem is to find some way to check the managers after they first get to the stores.
So?
Well, so most of the stores open about 8 o'clock. Now, from what we've been able to check out, the managers get in about 6:30 to 7. We make arrangements for them to call the office after they're in the stores, and they've checked them through.
How are you going to work the calling?
Well, Frank and I figured that if we could stagger the call, so we'd get one at, say, 6:30, next one at 6:31 or 6:32, and so forth.
We allow them 5 minutes leeway. If we haven't heard from them in that time, then we know something's wrong.
How many men do you figure you're going to need to do this?
Well, maybe 2-3 other teams. Those and the men from Metro that we have now.
It's wild, Skipper, but it's about the only thing we got left.
How long will it take you to check with the store owners?
Well, maybe 2-3 days. We figured we'd keep it in this area right over here. It seems to be maybe where he'll hit next, is all we can.
Now, just a minute. Robbery, Didion. Yeah. When? Are you sure about the ammo? Mm-hmm. Description? Send it in, will you? Right. Better enlarge that area.
What do you mean?
You just hit in Sacramento.
Tuesday, February 12th, 3:45 p.m. Frank and I talked on the phone to Fritz Kaminsky, chief of police in Sacramento. He told us that the market bandit went through the same sequence of events that had characterized his operations in Los Angeles. First, he took several food items from the display stands in the store, and then he forced the manager to open the safe. After robbing the safe, the thief locked the manager in a meat refrigeration locker and left the store. A witness in the neighborhood saw the suspect leave the store and said that he'd escaped in a late-model dark Ford sedan. He was unable to give us much of a description of the man, but he said that he was elderly, small, and that he'd been dressed in a brown overcoat and a brown hat, and he wore a black mask. There could be little doubt that it was the same man who had been hitting the markets in the Southland. Wednesday, February 13th. Frank and I checked out a trip car, and we drove up to Sacramento. We talked with the victim and with a witness. Both of them were unable to find the thief's picture in the mug books. Stakeouts were arranged on the markets in the Sacramento area, and additional bulletins were gotten out on the Ford sedan. Frank and I returned to Los Angeles and started to set up the plan that we discussed with Captain Didion. Each of the store managers agreed to cooperate, and starting the morning of February 18th, the plan was put into operation. 3 weeks passed. The bandit failed to hit again. March 18th, 6:37 a.m.
Robbery, Murphy. What's that number?
Yes. Robbery, Smith. Yes, sir. Okay, thanks. Number 38, okay.
Right. Still no word from 34. We better get ready to roll on it.
Let's see. That's that supermarket on Palmetto Avenue.
That's right. Let's go. Murph.
Yeah?
Catch the rest of the calls, will you?
Yeah, sure.
What do you think, Joe?
I don't know. Let's find out.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
The modern way to sell cigarettes is the Chesterfield way, both regular and king size. And we're the only one that does it. We tell you what Chesterfields are made of to give you premium quality in both popular sizes. Our scientists select the best materials. They select for Chesterfield the world's best tobaccos, blend them just right, and they keep Chesterfields tasty and fresh with the best of moistening agents. Now, here's something else that's completely modern about Chesterfield. People smoke Chesterfield, and we tell you what happens. Scientifically, but simply.
A medical specialist is making regular bi-monthly examinations of a group of people from various walks of life. 45% of this group have smoked Chesterfield for an average of over 10 years. After 8 months, the medical specialist reports that he observed no adverse effects on the nose, throat, and sinuses of the group from smoking Chesterfield.
I'd say that means real mildness. And finally, we ask you to try Chesterfield and prove what we say. Chesterfield is best for you. They're much milder, to give you all the pleasure that the modern cigarette can give.
It took us a little over 5 minutes to get to the store on Palmetto. As we went by the place, we couldn't see anyone through the front windows. The store looked empty. Frank pulled the car into the parking lot next door to the store, and we walked around to the front.
How about it?
No, I can't see anything from here. You want to cover the back?
Yeah.
I'll give you time to get back there, then I'll go in the front.
Right.
Watch it.
I tell you, I don't know the combination.
I don't want any trouble. I'm trying to be nice. I don't want to hurt you. Open the safe and everything will be all right. You read the papers. You know about me. Now do what I say and nothing will
All right, mister. Let's hold it right there. Police officers, put that gun down. Stop.
Watch it, Joe. He's coming at you. Away.
All right, come here.
You okay, Joe?
Yeah, I got him, Frank. You want to shake him down?
Right. There. You got him? You got the gun?
Yeah, we got him.
I was sure scared there for a minute. I tried to think about how I was going to stall him long enough before you get here.
Yeah. He's clean, Joe. All right, come on, mister. On your feet. Come on. What's your name?
Clark. Leonard Clark.
All right, let's go.
You want me to go along with you?
Yeah, well, once you make a crime report.
Fine, I'll do anything to help try to rob me.
Lousy deal. Might have known something was wrong the way that guy played it. Should have known.
Yeah, sure.
You figure me for the guy you're looking for? This black masked bandit the paper's been yakking about?
That's the way we figure it.
Well, too bad, fellas. You can't make me for it.
Is that right?
Yeah, you're looking for somebody else. You got the wrong man.
How old are you, Clark?
52?
Ever serve any big time?
Sure, what's that prove?
Well, the way you look, the way you work this one, even the mask, we made you for it.
Only one thing.
What's that?
You gotta prove it.
8:30 a.m. We took Leonard Clark downtown to the city hall. We talked to him for about an hour. He admitted trying to hold up the market, but he insisted that he was not the Black Masked Bandit. He told us that he'd read about the holdups in the paper and that it seemed like an easy way to pull a robbery. He told us that he'd used a pinch bar to jimmy a rear window in the market, and then he entered the place. He told us that he'd waited for the manager to come in, and then he tried to get him to open the safe. Sergeants Murphy and Creasy went out to his home. They found nothing there to tie him in with the other robberies. A check through R&I showed a record on Clark listing 2 convictions for 211 and 1 count of 245 PC. He'd served time at both San Quentin and Folsom penitentiaries, as well as some of the eastern penitentiaries. Mug shots of Clark were shown to the victims of the Black Masked Bandit, and they said that it was a possibility that he could be the man who'd robbed them. Friday, March 21st, a special show-up was arranged, and the victims were asked to be present. We explained that the questions asked were for the express purpose of acquainting the victims with the suspect's voice. Clark was brought out on the stage and asked his name.
Leonard Clark.
What were you arrested for?
I don't know.
You must know what you're being held for.
They say I'm the Black Masked Bandit.
Are you?
No.
Were you armed when you were arrested?
What?
Were you armed when you were arrested?
Yeah.
What kind of weapon were you carrying?
.38 revolver.
Leonard, could you speak a little louder, please?
.38 revolver.
How long you been in jail?
Since Tuesday.
Where were you arrested?
Market out on South Palmetto.
It's a long street. Where on South Palmetto?
1721 South Palmetto.
What were you doing there?
Was arrested for trying to hold up the place.
You ever done any big time?
Huh?
I say, you ever done any big time?
Yeah.
Where?
At Q, Folsom.
What'd you do the time for, Leonard?
Which time?
Well, let's take them in order. How about Quentin?
5 to life for robbery.
How about Folsom?
Same thing.
You owe any time now?
Yeah, I'm on parole.
Joe.
Yeah.
Ask him to turn around, will you? The victims can't see him too good.
All right. Leonard, take a quarter turn to your left. No, Leonard, to your left. All right. Now another quarter turn. Another quarter turn. Now another quarter turn. No, same way. Another quarter turn. Now face the front, Leonard. Where do you live?
Out in Hollywood.
Where?
Corner of DeLongpre and Monroe, apartment house.
It's a good-sized corner. Which apartment?
Ashley Arms, apartment 604.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a carpenter.
A what?
Carpenter, I said.
You work steady?
Yeah.
Who do you work for?
I'm a carpenter for a contractor named Gagely.
Now look straight, will you, Leonard? Straight ahead.
Yeah.
You remember where you were on February 7th? That was a Thursday.
No.
You got no idea at all?
Not at all.
You own a car?
Yeah.
What make is it?
It's a Ford.
Speak up, will you, Leonard? We can't hear you.
A Ford.
What color is it?
Dark blue.
What year?
1950.
All right, Leonard. Now, would you step over to the side of the stage? No, the other way. Side of the stage. How's it look, Frank?
Nothing yet. Manager at the county market seems to think it's him. The others aren't sure.
Yeah. Well, maybe when we get the coat and mask on, it'll help. Those clothes, Leonard, are they yours?
Yeah, they're mine.
How about that mask? That belong to you, too?
Yeah.
Would you put the mask on? Well, just put it on. That's it. Now put the hat on. Not the way you usually wear it?
That's right.
All right. Take a quarter turn to your left. No, Leonard, your left. That's it. Now again. And again. Once more. All right, now face forward. Now all the way around. Come on, Leonard. Straight forward. That's it.
Yeah.
Now repeat these words. Just be quiet and you won't get hurt.
Just be quiet. You won't get hurt.
Now say, open the safe And don't cause any trouble.
Open and safe. Don't cause any
A
trouble.
little louder, Leonard.
Open and safe and don't cause any trouble.
All right, Leonard. You can take the mask off. How many times have you been arrested?
I don't know.
About how many times would you say?
Maybe 15, something like that.
What'd you fall for?
Suspicion.
Suspicion of what?
A lot of things. They didn't nail me for.
How old are you now, Leonard?
52.
How old were you when you were arrested the first time?
16.
You've had quite a life, haven't you?
Yeah, I fell among evil companions.
All right, Leonard, that's all. How about it, Mr. Scott?
I can't be sure, Sergeant, but I think that's mine.
Can I see a minute, Joe?
Scott just gave a tentative identification.
Yeah, well, he's the only one.
What do you mean?
The others say we got the wrong man.
11:45 p.m. We returned Leonard Clark to his cell. Frank and I continued to question the victims of the Black Masked Bandit. Only one of them was able to give us a tentative identification. Clark would be filed on the following morning for attempting to rob the market on Palmetto Avenue, pending investigation on the other charges. The working detective has come to know that many times at a show-up, identifying witnesses sometimes become confused, sometimes fail to speak up for one reason or another, sometimes due to fear, the idea of incriminating a man, thus making the officer's task of bringing a suspect to justice all the more difficult. In spite of the lack of identifying witnesses, Frank and I felt reasonably sure that we had the Black Masked Bandit in custody. The following morning, March 22nd, we checked into the office to fill out the follow-up forms.
You know, Joe, I just can't figure it. He's got to be it. He's got the motive, the opportunity, everything.
Yeah, M.O. matches.
We got him on one count anyway. What happens now?
Well, I guess we just wait. If there aren't any more holdups, we know we got the right guy. It's about the only way you can do it. Anyway, you slice it, Clark's finished. The court gets through with him this time. They'll nail him for life.
Yeah, I suppose so. He sure looks like the guy to me, though. I tell you, Joe, he's got to be it. Everything fits with him, all the way down the line.
That's what I figured, too.
Friday, Smith?
Yeah, Skipper.
Call from Hollywood Division. Just had one at 3rd and Selma.
Yeah, what about it?
Black Masked Bandit. We haven't got him.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 17th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, all of us who sell Chesterfields want to thank you for making 1952 such a wonderful year, both for Dragnet and for Chesterfield. Remember, Chesterfield makes it possible for us to bring you Dragnet, and in return, we hope you'll try our cigarette, because Chesterfield is best for you. Premium quality Chesterfield. Either way you like them, regular or king size. They're much milder.
Leonard Stanley Clark was tried and convicted of attempted robbery. Because of his previous criminal record, he was sentenced to life imprisonment without possibility of parole. He is now serving his term in the state penitentiary, Folsom, California.
Next week, The Big Mask, Part 2. Ladies and gentlemen, as an investment, bonds are better than ever. So whether you already buy on the payroll savings plan where you work or the bond-a-month plan where you bank, get an extra bond for defense tomorrow.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Whit Connor, Harry Bartell. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Either way you like them, regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Tonight, there's more adventure with Barry Craig, confidential investigator, on NBC.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, the only cigarette in America to give you premium quality in both regular and king size, brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. For the past 6 months, the managers of large markets in your city have been the victims of a hold-up man. You thought you had the suspect in custody. You were wrong. Your job, get him. There's only one premium quality cigarette in America, available in both regular and king size, and that is Chesterfield.
Premium quality in a cigarette means the world's best tobaccos, the best ingredients, the best cigarette paper. Only Chesterfield gives you this premium quality in both popular sizes.
King-size Chesterfield contains tobaccos of better quality and higher price than any other king-size cigarette. That's certainly important to every king-size smoker. Of course, it's the same fine tobacco as in regular Chesterfield. There is absolutely no difference, except that king-size Chesterfield is larger. Contains so much more of these premium quality tobaccos that you get more than a fifth longer smoke from king-size Chesterfield.
Yes, the modern way to sell cigarettes is the Chesterfield way. Premium quality, both regular and king size.
And either way you like them, Chesterfields are much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Saturday, March 22nd. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 9:36 a.m. when we got to 4623 Linwood, bakery shop.
Yes, sir. Can I help you?
Police officers, ma'am.
Oh, yes, you want to see Mr. Jenkins. He's in the back. Right through that door.
Thank you, ma'am. How is Mr. Jenkins?
Well, he's all right. Got a bad cut on his head. The ambulance was here.
Uh-huh. Do you know if there are any witnesses?
I don't know. The other officers are checking it now, I guess.
Mm-hmm. About how long have they been here?
I'd say 10 minutes.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Who is it? Police officer, sir. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Well, what happened to the other officer?
Well, he left, Mr. Jenkins. A couple of questions we'd like to ask you about this.
Sure. Pull up that chair there.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. You feel all right, sir?
Yeah, headaches a little, but I feel okay. Guy from the ambulance said I should see my own doctor. I don't know when I'm going to get time to do that. It's nothing serious, a little cut.
Yes, sir. Would you tell us just what happened here?
Sure, there's not much to it. Where do you want me to start?
Well, what time did the man come in?
Oh, I see. It must have been about 6:30 this morning. I was just frying the donuts. I heard this knock on the back door, and I let him in.
What did he look like, sir?
Well, just like the descriptions in the paper. That's how I knew it was the Black Masked Bandit. Had the overcoat on, the hat, and the mask on his face.
Was he carrying a gun?
Yeah, it looked like a .38 revolver, long barrel.
Mm-hmm. What happened then?
Well, at first I couldn't figure it. You know, I'd read in the paper where he was robbing markets. I couldn't figure what he was doing in a bakery.
He was alone then, huh?
Yeah, at least I couldn't see anybody with him.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Well, he came in and sat down, told me to go ahead with what I was doing. Sat right over there in that chair. Leaned back against the wall and just talked.
What did he talk about, do you remember?
Just nothing special. Then he asked me to hand him one of the donuts I'd finished. Said he wanted one of the chocolate ones. I gave it to him. He just leaned back and ate it.
I see.
I asked him what he wanted. Why the gun, you know?
Yes.
He said he didn't want me to get any bright ideas. And he asked me how much money I had.
Yeah.
I told him I only had about $150, and he said that wasn't much. I said it wasn't, but it's all I had. And I asked him if he was going to rob me.
What did he say to that?
He said he probably would.
All this time, did he keep the mask on?
Yeah, he never took it off.
How long was he here?
Well, he got here, like I said, at 6:30. He left about 8:15, just before Vera came in. She's the one who found me.
Vera?
Yeah, she's the girl that takes care of the store. You probably saw her out front when you came in.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Well, I finished up with the donuts, and then I asked him if he'd like a drink. And I said I had some brandy locked up, and I asked him if he'd like a shot.
Mm-hmm.
He said he would. I went over to get it. I keep it over there in that cupboard. And when I walked over, I had to walk right in front of him.
Yeah.
Well, you probably know it gets pretty hot in the bakery, the ovens and all. I guess he was kind of relaxed.
Yeah.
Well, when I walked by him, I grabbed his gun, took it right out of his hands, and he jumped up and told me to hand it over to him, said for me to give it back and I wouldn't get hurt. And I told him he had the shoe on the wrong foot, that I was calling things now.
Yes, sir. What'd you do then?
Well, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, if it hadn't happened to me, I'd never believe it.
What's that?
When I took the gun away from him, he looked real surprised. That's when I told him that I was the boss, and he just stood up and started to walk toward me. I told him to stop. I pointed the gun at him, told him to stay where he was.
Yeah.
But he didn't stop. He kept coming right at me. I told him again, but he kept right on walking. And then I fired at him. Well, it wasn't any farther away from him than 10, maybe 15 feet. Didn't hit him, so I pulled the trigger again. Shot right at him 6 times. Right at him. He just kept walking at me. Now, at first, I thought the shells in the gun were blanks. And then I could see where the bullets were hidden. Well, there, you can see a couple of them in the wall. I couldn't believe my eyes. I missed him every time.
What did he do right after you shot at him?
When I fired the last shot, the gun clicked a couple of times. He just stopped and laughed. He said that I'd run out of bullets and that I'd better give the gun to him.
Did you?
Yeah, I threw it at him as hard as I could. I missed him then, too. The gun hit the floor, and I could see the sparks fly, and then he picked it up and came after me. I didn't think I'd be in much trouble. He looked so little. But when he grabbed at me, I knew I'd had it. That man had hands like a vice.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed my arm and hit me on the head right here. He knocked me out. He came to when Vera came in. The guy was gone, so was the money.
Well, where'd you keep this money?
In my pocket. I had it in my wallet. I don't usually put it in the cash register until Vera gets in.
I see. Now, you said that when the gun hit the floor, you saw the sparks fly from it. Is that right?
Yeah, you know what, like when you hit a piece of flint with another rock, like the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
Did you notice that the gun seemed damaged in any way?
No, I didn't have time to notice anything. Right after that, he hit me.
Uh-huh. I wonder if you'd give us a description of the man.
Well, sure, like I told the other officers, he was a little man, real old.
How old would you say?
Oh, maybe 50 or so, not any younger.
You're pretty sure about that, are you?
Yeah.
About how tall?
Maybe 5'2", not any more than that. Kind of hard to tell with that big coat on. It looked like it was 5 or 6 sizes too big. It looked kind of funny at first, then you realized who he was, and it wasn't funny anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too scared of him when I first saw him, even when he came at me, but when he grabbed my arm, I knew I had trouble.
Yes, sir.
Still can't understand it. 6 shots, and I didn't hit him once. I tell you, the guy's not human.
Well, he's scoring pretty good for a ghost. 10:02 a.m. The crew from the crime lab came out and went over the bakery. Ray Pinker removed the slugs from the wall and the floor and took them back to the lab. The bandit, as usual, had worn gloves, so there was no possibility for fingerprints. A search of the neighborhood failed to turn up any new leads. None of the people in the immediate area had seen anyone answering the description of the Black Mask Bandit. Additional supplementary bulletins were gotten out, and all of the cars in the surrounding vicinity were alerted. The stats office had made run after run on the M.O. of the bandit. The leads they gave us were all checked out. All gunsmiths were alerted in the event that the suspect's weapon had been damaged and that he might try to have it repaired. All leads were checked and rechecked. They netted us nothing. Informants were questioned and re-questioned. The plan that had been worked out for checking with the managers of the supermarkets in the city was continued. 3 weeks passed. The bandit hit again, this time a market just outside of Eagle Rock. The M.O. was the same as had been used in the previous robberies. However, in this one instance, the market didn't have a storage refrigerator, so the thief locked the manager in a back room. In locking the door, the suspect had taken off his gloves, and Leighton Prince was able to lift a partial print from the doorknob. It wasn't enough for classification, but Bergman said that if we apprehended the man, he'd be able to identify him for us. June came and went. July, August. The bandit had been operating without interference for almost a year. He'd widened his theater of operations. Reports had come in from San Francisco to Stockton, from San Diego to Pomona. In each case, the suspect seemed to know what markets were being staked out, and he stayed away from them. The legwork continued without result. Tuesday, August 19th. Frank and I checked back into the office.
Man, I never see it to fail. Every time we have lunch at Sal's, I eat too much.
Yeah, he puts out a good lunch, then.
Too good.
Want to check the book?
Right.
Anything?
Well, a call from Jerry.
Informant?
Yeah. Says he can't get with me tonight. He'll call in the morning.
Friday, Smith?
Yeah, Skipper.
Yeah.
Come on in here, will you?
Right away.
Sit down.
All right. Well, what is it?
You guys been on this Black Mask thing how long now?
Well, it's going on a year, isn't it?
You're no closer to him than you were when you started.
Not much.
You know you're tying up half the men at Metro. You got this town covered like a blanket, and you still can't turn the guy.
We're doing everything we can, Skipper.
I've been telling you for the last 6 months that I wasn't going to buy that anymore. I mean it this time. Now, just exactly what have you got on the guy?
Well, I think you know it just as well as we do, Skipper. Description, M.O., even the partial print Bergman lifted from that place out in Eagle Rock. We've been over it 100 times. Isn't a lead that we haven't run out and then checked over again.
Nothing new on the information from Folsom?
No, nothing. We've had 5,000 circulars printed. They're scattered all over the country. Doesn't look like the guy's ever done time before. The way he works, you'd think he knew exactly what we were doing. We cover the markets, he hits the bakeries. We cover the bakeries in L.A., he hits in San Diego. They cover the stores, then he hits up north. Where we are, he ain't.
How about the car, the Ford?
No, nothing. We got no license.
You ever hear anything on the damaged gun?
No, he never tried to have it fixed that we can find out about. He's gotten a hold of another gun someplace. Latest reports say he's using a revolver with a 2-inch barrel.
Well, where do you stand now?
I don't know. We got every store from La Cienega to Alameda covered. From Hollywood Boulevard south to Jefferson.
Big area.
Yeah, it's a lot of stores, too. There's a cruiser car or a cop in or near every large store and bakery in that area. Every police unit in the city's looking for the guy. If he hits again, we should get him.
Hey, Friday?
Yeah, Murph.
A call just came in from Wilshire. Figured you wanted. Here you go.
Thanks.
What is it?
Yeah, we got the whole town waiting for him with open arms. Everything's set, and he pulls a switch.
What is it, Friday?
The Black Masked Bandit. He's going in for kidnapping now. The local broadcast stated that the manager of one of the big supermarket chains in the city had been taken from his home about 2:30 in the morning. The bandit forced him to drive to the store and open the safe. The thief then bound the manager and left the premises. The manager gave us a complete description of the bandit, and locals and APBs were gotten out on him. In this instance, the thief didn't use his own car. He forced the manager to drive his car to the market. The manager told us that when they'd left the house, he hadn't seen any other cars on the streets. Tuesday, August 19th, 5:20 p.m. Frank and I got in touch with Lieutenant Dick Tiernan of the Sheriff's Robbery Squad. Together with him, we worked out a plan to try to keep the homes of the managers under surveillance. In addition to this, men from the Sheriff's Department aided in canvassing the houses of the owners and managers. Each car was assigned 3 houses, while other cars covered 3 markets each. A month passed. The Black Masked Bandit hit 5 times, each time in areas which were not under direct surveillance. Friday, September 26, 5:20 a.m., we got a call at home that there had been another kidnapping, this time an elderly market manager and his wife. Frank and I drove out to see them. The radio unit had returned them to their home.
Yes?
Mr. Gunther?
That's right.
Police officers, Mr. Gunther.
Oh, yes. Come in. You have some sort of identification?
Yes, sir. Here's my ID card. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
How do you do?
Mr. Gunther.
Come into the living room, won't you?
Thank you very much, sir.
Sit down. Hope you didn't mind my asking about your identification. Just the way things have been happening, you can't be too sure.
Yes, sir, we understand. Now, I wonder if you'd mind telling us what happened.
Sure. Awful thing. Awful. Just can't believe that a man his age would do a thing like this. Seems that he'd know not to be so cruel.
Yes, sir. Just what did happen?
Well, last night, must have been about 2 or 2:30, I woke up with this flashlight shining in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
First, I didn't know what it was. Just this real bright light, you know.
Yes, sir.
Well, right away, of course, I knew there was somebody else in the room. About that time, Agnes woke up. Agnes is my wife.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, she woke up, wanted to know what was going on. I told her I didn't know. All this time, that light didn't move. Just stayed in one place and shone right in my eyes.
Yes, sir.
Then we heard this voice tell us to get out of bed. Said he wanted me to go with him. I told him to get out of the house, that I didn't want any trouble. If he wanted money, he'd find all we had in the house right on the dresser with my wallet.
Mm-hmm. Could you see who the person was, sir?
No, not then. The light and all. But I got out of bed, and then I could see. A little old man with a black mask over his eyes.
How could you tell his age, sir?
Well, just could, that's all. Little beady eyes, and his mouth mean. Never saw a mouth like that on a young man. His voice was old, I could tell.
Yes, sir.
Well, he told me to get dressed. Said that I should hurry up about it.
Was he armed? Could you tell that?
Yes, I could see it. He was holding a gun. All this time, Agnes was yelling at him to get out of the house. She's not well, you know.
Yes, sir.
Agnes, she has a bad heart.
Uh-huh.
Been to the doctor for years. Takes pills and medicine. That's the big reason that I did what he said. I didn't want there to be any trouble to get Agnes excited.
I understand.
Well, finally I told him if he'd get out of the room and leave her alone, I'd do what he wanted. Not to give him any cause to hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Then he did about the meanest thing he could have done. Told Agnes to get out of bed. Said for her to get up and get dressed and go with us. Just can't understand why he'd want to do a thing like that. Just plain meanness.
Yes, sir. Did your wife do what he said?
Well, at first she said she wouldn't do it. Really told him off. I thought he'd maybe get mad and hit her. He was mean enough to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I asked her to do what he wanted. Figured that'd be the easiest way of getting him out of the place. I thought that maybe I could talk him out of taking her with us, but I couldn't.
He made you leave the house, then?
Yeah. Told me to get the car out of the garage, and then he and Agnes get in the back seat. Made me drive down to the store.
Did you notice any other cars in the area? Any cars parked near your house that weren't usually there?
No. On the way to the store, though, I saw a police car. I thought about trying to attract their attention. He must have thought about it, too, though.
Why'd he say that?
Well, he told me that if I did anything to call attention to us, he'd kill Agnes. I think he would have, too. I didn't do anything to get him upset.
Yes, sir.
Well, we got to the market, and he made me open the safe, and then he took the money and tied us up. I begged him not to tie Agnes. I've never done that before, Sergeant. I'm 52, and I've never begged a man for anything, but I did this time. Begged him not to kill Agnes. I knew that if he tied her up like he said he was going to, it'd kill her. Pleaded with him, but it didn't do any good. Tied her up and put that tape over her mouth. One thing I can say for him, though, just one. He called the police and told them where we were. If he hadn't have done that, I think we'd have both died. Agnes almost suffocated.
Where's your wife now, Mr. Gunther?
In the other room. Doctor's with her. He gave her a sedative. Awful thing, Sergeant. I just don't know how anyone could be that mean.
No, just one reason we can think of.
What's that?
He's had a lot of practice. 11:30 a.m. We talked to Mrs. Gunther. She told us pretty much the same story that we'd gotten from her husband. The police car in the area was contacted, but they reported that they hadn't noticed the Gunther car. The unit that was patrolling the area around the store was contacted. They reported that they had checked the store at 3:15 a.m. At that time, there were no lights and no suspicious cars in the vicinity. The Black Masked Bandit had been working for over a year. In that time, he'd robbed 59 stores that we knew of. His theater of operations had taken him from Northern California right down to the Mexican border, from the desert to the beach. He'd stolen approximately $500,000. The entire nation had received communications carrying the description of the suspect. The entire facilities of the police and sheriff's departments in Los Angeles were devoted to apprehending him. Thousands of man-hours had gone into stakeouts and searches. None of them produced any results. As the case grew in importance, robbery detail began to get an average of 30 calls a day from well-meaning citizens with information. Every lead, no matter how remote, had to be checked out. This meant more hours of legwork and interrogation. Every officer in the Southland was looking for the bandit. Every car and motorcycle on the streets had his description. None of it did any good. Thursday, October 2nd, 11:05 p.m. Frank and I checked back into the office.
Well, there's another one that didn't go anyplace.
Yeah, you want to fill out the reports? I'll check the book.
Yeah. Never fails, does it, Joe?
What's that?
Oh, something like this one comes along. Some people use it to get back at their neighbors. Take that deal tonight. Pretty silly, huh? I'd like to know who gave us that tip. There's something kind of sneaky about anonymous phone calls.
Well, we'd miss a lot of breaks if we didn't get them.
Yeah. You figure we're ever going to nail this guy?
Who knows? I'm getting a little punchy.
Every time we miss him, we get another pasting. Have you read the papers lately?
Well, you got to expect that, Frank. They're probably calling it the way it looks to them. There's only one way to answer him. That's to nail the guy. I'll get it. Robbery Friday. Yeah, that's... What's that? Can you speak a little louder? I can't... That's better. What? Uh-huh. When did this happen? Yeah. What's the address out there? Yeah, the street. Now, give me the number. That's right. All right, you bet. We'll take care of it. Right. Bye. Looks like something here. Market manager's son.
Yeah?
Says someone's just kidnapped his father.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
The modern way to sell cigarettes is the Chesterfield way. Premium quality in both regular and king size. And we're the only one that does it. We tell you what Chesterfields are made of to give you that premium quality in both popular sizes. Our scientists select the best materials. They select for Chesterfield the world's best tobaccos, blend them just right, and they keep Chesterfields tasty and fresh with the best of moistening agents. Now, here's something else that's completely modern about Chesterfield. People smoke Chesterfield, and we tell you what happens, scientifically but simply.
A medical specialist is making regular bi-monthly examinations of a group of people from various walks of life. 45% of this group have smoked Chesterfield for an average of over 10 years. After 8 months, the medical specialist reports that he observed no adverse effects on the nose, throat, and sinuses of the group from smoking Chesterfield.
I'd say that means real mildness. And finally, we ask you to try Chesterfield and prove what we say. Chesterfield is best for you. They're much milder to give you all the pleasure that the modern cigarette can give.
11:23 p.m. Frank and I checked the manager's name on the list. We got the address, and 7 minutes later, we pulled up in front of the store. In the rear of the store, we could see two men. One was dressed in a bathrobe, the other in a large overcoat with a brown hat pulled down over his eyes. Parked in front of the store was a dark blue 1951 Lincoln. We checked the car and found that it bore the registration of Donald Anderson, the manager. Frank went around to the rear door of the market, and I covered the front entrance. We waited. At 11:42 p.m., the bandits started for the front door.
All right, mister, police officer, hold it up there. Come on, drop the gun. Give it up.
Cop, get out of here!
Right, cover the other side of the building.
He's going for that fence, Joe.
All right, come on, mister, give it up.
You all right, Joe?
Yeah, come on, let's get over this fence. All right. He's not over here.
No, we missed him. He must have got over that wall. I'll get back to the car and notify the radio units.
All right. You think you hit him?
I don't know. I might have.
Let's check the ground by the fence.
You got your flashlight?
Yeah, here it is. Hold it, Joe.
Yeah?
Here. See? By the fence.
Oh, yeah. Blood stains. Quite a few of them.
I'll stay here and check.
Okay, I'll be right back. Watch yourself.
Yeah.
Unit 1K80 to Control 1. Unit 1K80 to Control 1.
Control 1 to 1K80, go ahead.
While attempting to arrest market bandit during commission of robbery, he exchanged fire with suspect. Suspect is known to be wounded. Suspect armed, use caution. Suspect seen fleeing on foot. All cars in area converge on corner Figueroa and Woodlawn. Suspect described as WMA, 50 to 55 years, 130 to 140 pounds. Block off area at Vernon to Slauson. And from Figueroa to Maine. Suspect last seen going through houses at 49th and Figueroa. That's 49 and Figueroa.
Roger, 1K80. Attention, all units. Attention, all units. All units in the vicinity of 49th and Figueroa. Robbery suspect wounded while attempting robbery of market. Suspect described as WMA, 15 to 55 years, 130 to 140 pounds. Block off area at Vernon to Slauson, and from Figueroa to Main Street. Suspect last seen going through houses at 49th and Figueroa.
Unit 1K80 to Control 1. Unit 1K80 to Control 1.
Control 1 to Unit 1K80, go ahead.
Suspect is known to be armed. Approach with caution. Use caution. Unit 1K80 to Control 1, KMA 367.
All units. Robbery suspect at 49th and Figueroa, known to be armed. Approach with caution. Repeat. Approach with caution.
What do you figure, Frank?
Well, he's in here someplace. Let's find him.
In the next 3 hours, 37 police cars combed the area. Every possible hiding place was investigated. A house-to-house search was started. Citizens were asked to lock their doors and to open their homes to no one. In one of the yards, we found the hat and coat worn by the suspect, but apparently he'd made good his escape. Broadcasts were gotten out to the entire city, putting them on the alert. Additional officers were sent to the blockaded area to help with the search. Captain Didion came out from the office to direct the operations. 3:30 a.m. The area had been checked and rechecked. No sign of the suspect. Frank and I went back to our car.
I don't know, Joe. The guy's got us jinxed. Seems like everything we do, he's got us beat.
It doesn't make much sense, does it? We got to turn him sometime.
Yeah, we've been saying that for a year. Didion was sure in a rare mood tonight.
Well, he's got trouble with his stomach again.
I'm going to have trouble with mine if this keeps up much longer. Joe, car.
Yeah, take the other side of it.
All right.
All right, come on out of the car, mister. Come on, we know you're there. Get out.
Get out of here, cop!
Come on, throw that gun out here. You can't go anywhere. Give it up before you get killed.
I ain't coming out. Don't you try coming after me.
You haven't got a chance. I dropped that gun.
All right, I quit. Got no more shells. I can't fight anymore. I quit. Please don't shoot anymore.
All right, throw that gun out here. Come on. All right, now get out of the car. Keep those hands up. Put them behind your head. All right, come on over here. Turn around. Put your hands against the car. Straight out in front of you. I'll shake.
Hey, you going to call the ambulance for me? I'm hurt. Can't you see I'm hurt? Ain't you going to do anything for me?
It's clean, Joe.
Here.
Get your hands behind you.
Want to put in a call for the ambulance?
Right.
You didn't have to shoot. I would have stopped if I'd known you was cops.
You got trouble with your ears?
No.
We told you we were officers. You built this thing. We just went along with you.
A lousy deal anyway. I should have stopped. I should have quit when I was ahead. If I'd have stopped, you guys would have never caught me. Never.
They're on the way, Joe.
Good. What's your name, mister?
Jerry. Jerry Rogers.
How old are you?
35.
All this time we're looking for an old man. How do you figure it, Joe?
I don't know. Gray hair, big overcoat, and that mask. Witnesses didn't get too good a look at him.
Yeah.
You ever been arrested, Rogers?
Yeah, once. Isn't that ambulance ever going to get here?
It's coming. What'd you fall for?
Huh?
What were you arrested for?
Drunk driving. Oh, I should have quit. I should have laid off.
Yeah, it's too bad you didn't figure it that way a little sooner.
Look, I don't want any morals. When's that ambulance going to get here?
Don't worry about it, Rogers.
Huh?
You've got a lot of time.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On February 4th, trial was held in Department 87, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Let me tell you again why Chesterfield is best for me and for you. Now you have scientific evidence on the effects of smoking. No adverse effects on the nose, throat, and sinuses of the group from smoking Chesterfield. And remember, Chesterfield is the only cigarette to give you premium quality in both regular and king size. I'd like you to buy Chesterfields and prove that Chesterfield is best for you. Regular or king size, they're much milder to give you all the pleasure the modern cigarette can give.
Gerald Stephen Rogers was tried and found guilty of 12 counts of robbery in the first degree and 4 counts of kidnapping. He was sentenced to life imprisonment in the state penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
Ladies and gentlemen, the National Safety Council reminds you to make sure your car is really in shape for winter driving. Check headlights, windshield wipers, tires, and brakes. And then winterize your driving. Get the feel of the road when you start out. Keep well behind the car ahead. Instead of slamming on brakes and starting a skid, pump your brakes to slow down or stop. And always take your time in wintertime.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Ralph Moody, Harry Bartell, Jack Crucian. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Either way you like them, regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig, confidential investigator on NBC.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, the only cigarette in America to give you premium quality in both regular and king size, brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to forgery detail. A check forger has been hitting the merchants in your city. From the M.O. she uses, you know she's an expert. You've got a description. Your job, get her. There's only one premium quality cigarette in America, available in both regular and king size, and that is Chesterfield.
Premium quality in a cigarette means the world's best tobaccos, the best ingredients, the best cigarette paper. Only Chesterfield gives you this premium quality in both popular sizes.
King size Chesterfield contains tobaccos of better quality and higher price than any other king size cigarette.
That's certainly important to every king-size smoker. Of course, it's the same fine tobacco as in regular Chesterfield. There is absolutely no difference, except that king-size Chesterfield is larger, contains so much more of these premium quality tobaccos that you get more than a fifth longer smoke from king-size Chesterfield.
Yes, the modern way to sell cigarettes is the Chesterfield way. Premium quality, both regular and king-size.
And either way you like them, Chesterfields are much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, February 6th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of forgery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Welch. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from the forgery office, and it was 10:22 a.m. when I got to the mug room.
I'm sure about it, officer. If I ever see that woman again, I'll know her. Don't you have any doubt about it, I'll know her.
Yes, ma'am. Now, if you'll just look through this book, please. Have you seen anyone who might be the woman, Miss Parkinson?
No, not yet, Sergeant, but if she's got her picture in here, I'll find it for you. Never forget that face. So sweet and kind. They sort of reminded me of my mother, rest her soul. I think that's why I cashed the check for her. I never would have done it if there hadn't been something like that.
Yes, ma'am. I wonder if you'd mind running over it again for us. Might have been something you forgot, maybe.
No. I wouldn't forget anything about her, but I can tell you about it if you'd like.
All right, fine, Miss Parkinson. If you just start at the beginning again.
Fine. Would you mind calling me Ethel? I don't much care for formality. Feel better when people call me by my given name.
Yes, ma'am. If you go right ahead, please.
Well, this morning's when I found out about it. Like it keeled right over when the check came back from the bank. Opened up the other mail, mostly from people who want to sell me things for the store, and there it was. Letter from the bank with a check inside. Stapled to one of those forms, you know, the kind they just check with a pencil.
Uh-huh.
Well, like I said, there it was. Place that was checked said the account was unknown. Well, you can just bet I got on the phone and called the bank people.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
I told them they'd made some sort of mistake, that they'd better set it right. I was so sure that she wouldn't do a thing like this. Well, you know how banks are. They said they'd check it for me, and I waited on the phone while they did. And they said it wasn't any mistake. Well, you can just bet that I was hopping mad.
Yeah, well, what kind of identification did the woman use to get you to cash the check?
Well, she had several letters from her son. At least that's who she said they were from. I just bet she hasn't even got a son. Well, sir, I'll bet she hasn't.
Well, do you usually cash checks with that little identification?
No, I don't, as a rule. Usually ask for a driver's license and a Social Security card. Figure that if a person's got one of those, that means that he's working. Figures that the check is good.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not always true, you know, ma'am.
Well, don't I know it now? You just bet I do. Last time I'll cash a check for anyone that I haven't known for 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Had you seen this woman around your store before this time?
I've been trying to think about that. The shop isn't very big, but we do a pretty good business. Sometimes there are several people waiting. Get in a hurry, you know, and you aren't sure who you talk to.
Yes, ma'am.
To me, I've seen her in the store before, but when I stop and really think about it, I'm not too sure. You know how that is?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
When you boil it right down, I don't think I have seen her before. She just had one of those faces that you figure sure you know. Looked like such a lovely person.
I see. About how old do you figure she was, ma'am?
Well, like I said, I guess about 62, maybe a little older.
Uh-huh.
Might have been 65. Not much over that, though. Such pretty hair. Pure white, had it fixed in a real soft wave over her forehead. Old-fashioned kind of. Wore it in a bun, you know.
Ma'am?
Bun. Had the hair all rolled up and then pinned up back. Here. Back of her neck.
And it was white, you say? The hair was white?
Yes. Looks so nice to see a woman act and look her age. So many of them try to look younger, you know.
Yes, ma'am. How about her clothes?
Oh, she was well-dressed. Had a sort of teal blue suit on and a black coat. Looked kind of like it might have been cashmere. Looked real nice. Little string gloves and all.
You say she was a small woman, is that right?
Yeah, she was little. Stood real straight, you know, shoulders back. But she was a little one, not more than 5'1" or maybe 2.
Mm-hmm. Would she be slight or heavy?
Beg pardon?
Well, how much would you say she weighed?
Maybe 100 pounds. Say she wasn't much heavier than that. No, sir, 100 pounds.
Was there anything unusual about her, anything that might make her stand out?
No, I don't think so, except maybe it was the perfume.
Ma'am?
Perfume, you know, how you kind of expect a little old lady to wear something kind of mild like violet, maybe. Something light.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, she had a real heavy perfume on. Smelled kind of like a French scent. Real heavy, like I said. It was one thing I couldn't figure out.
What's that, ma'am?
Well, she did have nice clothes and all, but all in all, she didn't look like she had a lot of money. Just moderate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that perfume must have been expensive. Must have cost a lot.
Well, I guess she's making enough to afford it, ma'am. 10:34 a.m. Mrs. Parkinson continued to look through the mug books. She was unable to identify the woman who had passed the bad check. The merchants of the city had been victimized for the past 3 weeks by a forger, All of them described her as a kindly old lady using letters from her son in the East as identification. Frank and I had run the description we'd gotten through R&I with no result. The stats office had made several runs on the M.O., and all leads furnished by them had been checked out, but they led us nowhere. We'd obtained copies of the forged checks, and they'd been processed by Don Meyer in handwriting, but he'd been unable to offer us any new information. The names on each of the checks were different. We checked each of them out, but the leads went nowhere. All of the stores in the central area had been alerted. Descriptions had been distributed to the neighborhood merchants, but the check passing continued. We checked with our informants, but they failed to come up with any information. 2 weeks passed. The woman hit 12 more times. Her take was estimated to be over $2,500. The checks she passed were always for the same amount, $50. When it seemed necessary, she would purchase merchandise in order to cash the check. The articles she chose were in a price range so that the store owner would often cash the check rather than lose the sale. Thursday, February 21st, 8:34 a.m. Frank and I got back to the office. I'll get it. Forgery, Friday. Yeah. All right, where? How soon? All right. No, we'll see you there.
What is it?
Harry Allenson.
Informant?
Yeah, says he wants to see us right away.
Yeah.
Says he knows the woman we're looking for. The working detective knows that he's usually only as good as his informants. Quite often, when all other means of bringing a case to a successful conclusion have failed, the only thing that'll break it is information supplied by an informant. A detective will protect his informant. For as long as the informant can operate, the detective is assured of a steady flow of information. 9:45 a.m., Frank and I drove over to the coffee shop at the corner of Crawford and Spring Streets. Harry Allenson wasn't there when we arrived. We sat down and ordered a cup of coffee.
Oh, that's good and hot.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, pass the sugar, will you, Joe?
Yeah. There you go.
Thanks.
Wonder where Allenson is.
What time did he say he'd be here?
9:45.
Well, it's only a couple of minutes after that now. He'll be here.
Wonder how right his story is.
What did he tell you on the phone?
Oh, nothing, just that he knew what we were looking for. Said if we'd meet him here, he'd fill us in. There he is.
Oh, yeah.
All righty.
Harry? Sit down.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm late. Got hung up in traffic.
Oh, you got a car now, Harry?
No, missed my streetcar. Had to wait for another. Say, you guys had breakfast yet?
Yeah, we did a little earlier.
You mind if I have something to eat?
No, go ahead.
Where's the waitress?
Well, she was here a minute ago. I don't see her now.
I'll go get her myself. Sure you guys don't want anything to eat?
No, thanks just the same, Harry.
Okay, be right back.
Well, here we go again, Joe.
Yep.
Last time we met him, his meal cost $2.50. How much dough you got on you?
Well, I got a couple of bucks. How are you fixed?
Well, not much better. Let's hope he doesn't order too much, though.
How about some more coffee for you guys?
No, thanks, Harry.
Chow will be up in a minute.
All right, how about this information, Harry, about the paper hanger?
Oh, yeah. Funny the way I got it.
That right?
Yeah, I was up in Jack's bar last night. You know, just having a beer, shooting the breeze. All of a sudden, this old girl comes into the place. Had to set everybody back on their heels. It looks so nice.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, she slides up on one of the stools and orders a drink. Even Jack was taken in. Changed his apron and all. Anyway, she climbs up on the stool and orders some sherry. Made a big thing of it.
How do you mean?
Well, Jack started to pour some of it for her, and she stopped him. Said that she wanted California sherry. Said she didn't want any of that imported stuff. Said her family was one of the first ones in the state and that she believed in using homegrown products. She was kind of cute about it. Real little woman perched up on that stool. Looked a little like a cartoon. You know, the ones with a little old lady guzzling martini.
Yeah.
Oh, say, hold on a minute, will you? My food's ready. Be right back.
Okay, Harry.
How do you like that guy? It takes him 5 hours to get a point
Well,
over.
there's nothing you can do about it, Frank. He's got to tell it his way.
Well, I suppose so.
Nothing like a big breakfast. I always say if you stoke up in the morning, you got it made for the day.
Yeah, that's right, Harry.
Farm breakfast, they call this. Tell you, that's easy. Oh, look at that sausage. Fried real good. I like it when it's like a rock. Can't stand pork that hasn't been cooked enough.
Yeah. You want to go on with the story?
Oh, yeah. Don't mind if I eat, do you? Got a big day today. A lot of things to do.
No, you go right ahead, Harry.
All right. Well, like I said, this old broad ordered the sherry.
Uh-huh.
Well, as time went on, she must have had 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah?
A couple other guys came in, and I moved over to make room for them. Ended up sitting right next to the woman. Say, pass the ketchup, will you?
Oh, yeah. Here you go.
Eggs aren't much good without a lot of ketchup. Gives them real flavor.
Yeah. Harry, could you get to the point maybe a little sooner?
Oh, well, first off, I noticed this perfume this broad's wearing. Well, now I tell you, it's been a long time since I smelled anything like that. Real heavy. Like the stuff they sell in France.
Yeah.
Didn't fit the woman. Now, sir, didn't seem to go with the rest of her. I tried to strike up a conversation, you know.
talked about the weather, stuff like that, but she wouldn't have none of it. She didn't actually tell me, but I could tell the way she answered me, kind of cool.
What makes you think she might be the one we're looking for?
The way she looked, the way she worked.
What do you mean the way she worked?
Well, I'm getting to it. Anyway, after she's had the sherry, she reached into her purse to pay for him. Fumbles around in it for a while. Well, I couldn't help seeing what was in it, what was sitting right next to her and all.
Yeah, sure.
Well, she don't come up with any money. And she starts going through her pockets. Still can't find any money. Finally, she asked Jack.
Who's that, the bartender?
Yeah, Jack. He owns the place. She asked him if he'll cash a check.
Yeah.
Well, now I ask you. Either one of you guys know Jack?
No, I don't think we do, Harry.
No, I don't.
Well, Jack wouldn't cash a check for the treasurer of the country. Not even if he had the president to vouch for him. Been stung too many times.
Yeah.
Well, this old gal gets to him, see? I can see him start to go. He kind of hems and haws around all the time. He's trying to figure out a nice way to say no to her.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, he just ups and says it. Well, right after he kind of waits and expects her to tell him off for being so mean to somebody like her, but she doesn't. Just kind of hunches her shoulders and then starts digging in her purse again. Takes everything out, puts it on the bar.
Yeah.
Well, it happens that her driver's license is lying right there on the bar in front of me. Couldn't help but read it,
Yeah, we know.
Well, I saw her name. And I asked her if she'd let me buy the wine for her.
Mm-hmm. What'd she say to that?
Well, when I called her by name, she acted kind of startled, like she didn't expect it. And then she kind of smiled and said she was financially embarrassed at the moment. Something about coming away from the house without any money. But she said she thought it'd be very sweet of me if I take care of the tab. So I paid Jack the money, and I asked her if she'd like another one. She said she didn't think so. And then she got all her stuff together and put it back into her purse and thanked me. Then she got up and left.
Yeah, well, what was the name on the driver's license? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Got it written down here someplace. After she left, Jack and me got to talking about her, and then it hit me that she might be the one you're looking for. So I jotted down the name.
You ever see this woman before, Harry?
No, never laid eyes on her before she walked into Jack's last night. Now, here it is.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Yeah, that's the name at the top of the paper. Right under, that's her address.
The name on the piece of paper was Lillian Halstead. It was a new name in the case. It gave an address out near Bel Air. Frank and I called the name into R&I, but they had no record on anyone answering that description. We paid the check and thanked Harry Allenson for the information, and then we drove out to the address. It was a large house just off Sunset Boulevard. Mrs. Halstead wasn't in, but the maid told us that we'd find her husband at the Halstead School of Dramatic Arts. She gave us the address, and Frank and I drove out to the school. It was located in a large modern building out on Wilshire Boulevard. When we got there, Mr. Halstead was working with the advanced class in the drama section. We took a seat at the rear of the auditorium and waited for him to finish.
You gentlemen wish to see me?
Yes, sir. You're Mr. Halstead, are you?
That's correct.
Police officer, sir. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do?
I do.
What is it that you'd like to see me about?
Well, can you tell us where your wife is, sir?
Lillian?
Yes.
Well, she's out of town. Why? What do you want with her?
Well, what if you could describe her for us?
Well, certainly. I don't understand what this is all about, though.
Well, it's just a routine investigation.
Routine? What's that mean?
Well, just that we're conducting an investigation and a woman with the same name as your wife came up. We're just checking it out. Now, if you could give us a description of your wife, please.
Yes, well, let me see. Lillian's 36. Yes, I would say she's 5 feet 6 1/2 inches. Weighs perhaps 130 pounds.
Mm-hmm. What color's her hair, Mr. Halstead?
Well, before she left, it was sort of an auburn. Lillian said something about dyeing it red. Might have done it since she's been gone.
Where's your wife now?
She's back in Washington. They're holding a drama festival, and she's back there looking it over.
Do you have a picture of your wife here, Mr. Halstead?
Yes, sir. I have one on my desk in the office.
What if we take a look at it?
Why, certainly. You can go out this way.
Fine, thank you.
Here, down this way, please.
Thank you.
You tell me what this investigation is that you're working on?
Well, no, sir, not right now. We can't.
Oh, you can. Cloak and dagger stuff, eh?
No, sir, it's not exactly that.
Oh, here, I'll get the door for you.
Thank you.
It's right this way. Excuse me a moment. All right, here. Here's the picture. Lovely woman. Been a great help here at the school.
Yes, sir. How long ago was this picture taken?
Several months ago, I believe.
Mr. Halstead, how long has your wife been out of town?
Perhaps a week, 10 days, perhaps. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Did your wife drive a car, Mr. Halstead?
Yes, sir, she does. Oh, I understand. The license.
Sir?
Lillian's driver's license. That's what you're here about, isn't it?
Well, I don't understand, sir.
Oh, you don't have to be cagey with me. Lillian lost her driver's license some time ago, asked me to get her a new one. I didn't quite get a chance to do it. You found it. That's it, isn't it?
No, sir, that's not. We think your wife's license has been used as identification by some check forger.
You happen to know where your wife might have lost the license?
Why, no, we don't know exactly. It must have been about 3 months ago. She says that she dropped it here at the school, but I've looked all over for it, haven't been able to find it. I think she just left it someplace. She's terribly careless about things like that.
Yes, sir.
Is this about the old woman that's been forging the checks?
Why do you ask that, sir?
Well, that's another thing that I've been meaning to call you about. I was reading the paper one night, and all of a sudden it hit me.
Sir?
Well, I could be wrong, but I think I know the girl who's doing this.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
The modern way to sell cigarettes is the Chesterfield way. Premium quality in both regular and king size. And we're the only one that does it. We tell you what Chesterfields are made of to give you that premium quality in both popular sizes. Our scientists select the best materials. They select for Chesterfield the world's best tobaccos, blend them just right. And they keep Chesterfields tasty and fresh with the best of moistening agents. Now here's something else that's completely modern about Chesterfield. People smoke Chesterfield, and we tell you what happens. Scientifically, but simply.
A medical specialist is making regular bi-monthly examinations of a group of people from various walks of life. 45% of this group have smoked Chesterfield for an average of over 10 years. After 8 months, the medical specialist reports that he observed no adverse effects on the nose, throat, and sinuses of the group from smoking Chesterfield.
I'd say that means real mildness. And finally, we ask you to try Chesterfield and prove what we say. Chesterfield is best for you. They're much milder to give you all the pleasure that the modern cigarette can give.
2:37 p.m. We ran the name Bert Halstead through R&I, but we got no make on anyone answering his description. Halstead told us that he thought we might be looking for a girl he identified as Peggy Small. He told us that the Small girl had enrolled in the dramatic school over a year before. We asked him if he had a picture of her that we could have, and he told us that he thought there was one in the files. He took us down the hall to the registration office and checked his files. He located a picture of the girl and handed it to Frank.
Just why do you think this might be the girl we're looking for, Mr. Halstead?
Well, it's the oddest thing, officer. Peggy. Oh, that's Miss Small.
Yes, sir.
Well, Peggy came to us about a year ago, as I said. She came out here to the coast from some little town in Idaho, I think it was. I'd have to check her entrance application to be sure, but I think it was Idaho.
Yes, sir.
Well, instantly I knew that this girl had talent, real talent, deep down, talent. Right off the bat she had the feel. Would have been a fine character actress.
Why do you say would have?
She didn't want to work. Wasn't interested in anything but learning how to be an old woman.
Sir?
All she was interested in was learning to act like a little old woman.
Oh.
Now, we have a theory here at Halstead. Don't act, live. She did just that. Learned the makeup problems, dress, walk, everything. She even used to practice writing like a woman of 60 or so. I used to see her practicing by the hour.
Did she ever give you any reason for all this?
No. I asked her once, but she said that this was the way she wanted it. Now, I thought that she was trying to tell me to keep my nose out of her affairs in a nice way, so I didn't ask her again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have presentations here, you know. Each term, the class presents a play that's been written and produced by the students themselves.
Yes, sir.
Peggy would always do the oldest female part in them. Never was interested in anything else. She had several good offers, but for some reason she did not take them.
What do you mean by that, sir?
Well, one night a talent scout from one of the majors came out to see our play.
Well,
he was quite... Majors, the studio.
I see.
He was quite impressed with Peggy, offered her a term contract, good money. She'd have done well, but she just was not interested. I just can't understand it.
Well, do you know where she is now?
No, officer, I haven't seen Peggy since she left here. That was about 4 months ago.
I wonder if you could tell us where she lived when she was enrolled here.
Certainly. I have the address on her enrollment card.
Well, that's fine. We'd like to have the names and addresses of any of her close friends, too, if we could.
Oh, certainly glad to help. You think it could be her? Peggy? The woman you're looking for.
Well, it could be, yes, sir.
Odd. Now, I got to thinking about it when I read about it in the papers. Right away, it made me think of Peggy. How she used to talk about acting.
How's that, sir?
Well, she used to always say there was only one reason for doing anything, and that was to come out on it. That was the trouble with most people. They just didn't know where they wanted to end up. But she knew where she was going.
Well, maybe she was right.
I beg your pardon?
If she's the one we're looking for, we know, too. 3:12 p.m. We got Peggy Small's address from Mr. Halstead, and then we went back to the office. We ran the name through R&I, but there was no record on the girl. 4:02 p.m. Frank and I drove out to the last known address of the Small girl. It was a boarding house on 92nd Street. Peggy Small wasn't in, but the landlady told us that she usually didn't get back from work until 7 or 7:30. We asked if she knew where the girl worked, but she told us that she didn't. We arranged for a stakeout on the house, and at 4:37 p.m. we checked back into the office. You want to check the book?
Right.
Anything?
Don't think so. There's a call from Faye. Wants to know if I'll be home for dinner. I better give her a call, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Faye's getting a little hacked at me.
Was that so?
Yeah. Last 3 nights she's waited dinner for me and I didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, honey. Yeah. Well, I don't know yet. Yeah. Well, I think so. I know. Well, maybe another hour or so I'll know. Yeah. Okay, honey. Bye. If I don't make it tonight, she's going to scout me.
I get it. Forgery Friday. Yes, ma'am. What's that address again? All right. Yes, ma'am. We'll be right there. Well, your dinner's going to have to wait again.
Why?
Dry goods store out on Main. Forger's there now. In the process of the investigation, the police department had alerted the merchants throughout the city to the method of operation of the woman forger. Thousands of printed circulars had been distributed bearing her description. An artist's conception of the woman had been published in the daily papers, and the drawing had also been broadcast over the local television stations. The clerk in the store we'd gotten the call from had noticed a similarity between a woman waiting to cash a check and the description. From the information we'd gotten on the hot shot, the woman was waiting for an authorization for the check. When Frank and I got to the store, we met a small elderly woman. She produced identification in the form of a driver's license bearing the name Lillian Halstead. Frank and I asked her to go with us to the city hall for questioning. A policewoman was called, and the interrogation started. One look at her, and you could see that she was covered with a heavy makeup.
I want you gentlemen to know that I resent the implication you're making. The idea of trying to make me out a vicious criminal.
Ma'am, we're not trying to embarrass you. We just want to get to the truth here.
I'm giving you that. I'm telling you what you want to know.
All right, now let's get it over with. What's your name?
Lillian Halstead.
Is this your driver's license?
Yes, it is.
Then the thumbprint on it should be yours, too. Is that right?
I'd imagine so, yes.
Well, then suppose we go down the hall and take your fingerprints and compare it, huh?
Now, you look here, young man. I know my rights. You're not dealing with some little schoolgirl this time. I've lived a long time, and I know just exactly what you can do and what you can't do. I know, for instance, that you can't take my fingerprints unless you want to arrest me for something. If you want to make a fool out of yourself to that extent, then you go right ahead and do it. And mark this well, young man. I'll sue you for every nickel you own. I'll let the papers know about this. They'd love to know how you treat old women. They'd just love to know.
You ever been mistreated in any way, ma'am?
No, and I don't intend to be.
There's a man on the way down here, man by the name of Halstead. Wife's name is Lillian Halstead. That driver's license we found in your purse, the one you claim is yours, that's registered to his wife. He's coming down here to tell us that you aren't his wife, that you stole that license, that you were a student in his dramatic school. Now, why don't you save us all a lot of trouble here? Why don't you admit that you're the woman we're looking for, that you're Peggy Small? You're no old woman. Come on, how about it, Miss Small?
All right, I lose. Guess I should have known. Mind if I take this wig off? It's kind of warm in here.
We've been kind of waiting for it. Go right ahead.
It's a good racket while it lasted. Crummy driver's license. I was doing all right as long as I used the letters. They should have been good enough for me. I should have known.
What'd you do with the money?
I got it all, every last nickel of it. I almost had enough, too.
Enough for what?
Leave this lousy town, get out of here, go back east, New York. One more pieces of paper and I'd have it made. Could have left. Almost showed him good.
Ma'am?
Phony town. Months I pounded on doors, talking to agents, casting directors, talking to anybody who'd listen to me, trying to get a job, trying to get a break in pictures. None of them would talk to me, wouldn't even see me. This phony town.
Yes, ma'am.
They wanted character women. Didn't want any young women, character women. That's what they wanted. Well, I got to be the best of them. They didn't want me the way I am. I didn't want to work any other way, none. Had you fooled, didn't I? Had the whole town fooled. All of them. It's a phony place. I was going back east, back to New York. They know talent back there. They recognize it. They know whether you're real there or whether you're just a phony. They know it there.
Yes, ma'am. We know it here, too.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 19th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, only the modern cigarette, Chesterfield, gives you this scientific evidence on the effects of smoking. No adverse effects on the nose, throat, and sinuses of the group from smoking Chesterfields. And only the modern cigarette, Chesterfield, gives you premium quality in both regular and king size. Now, I know Chesterfield is best for me and best for you. Buy 'em, regular or king size. Either way, they're much milder to give you all the pleasure the modern cigarette can give.
Peggy Janice Small was tried and convicted of forgery, 10 counts. She was sentenced to the California Institution for Women at Corona, California, for the term prescribed by law. Forgery is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 1 to 14 years in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, June Whitley, Jack Crucian, Gene Tatum. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Either way you like them, regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig, confidential investigator on NBC.